The Jets get it done. The Bills hold on for another victory as well. And my Giants going at it tonight. The Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital starts right now.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. Cause when it comes to sport, it's all we're gonna do. If all green is always on the sea, it was gonna always bring to the live streaming. So get ready, get ready, cause here they come.
All right, baby. A little Monday show action for you today. It's our live Monday morning quarterback show. The Manchild, along with Paul Boy Green Esden Jr. You see him right there. He's got a little extra smile on his face today. Don't we all when our team gets a win? I'm hoping for one tonight. He got one yesterday. Oh, in dramatic fashion after Nick Folk, who hadn't missed all year, misses one. I couldn't believe it. I was tears running down my eye for you, Boy Green. But then, of course, Folk came through in the biggest of moments after that. The motion penalty on the Jets. What are they doing? Backing poor Folk in that old leg back up 5 more yards. This could be the difference. And he line drive one through the upright. That thing was low as it goes. I can't believe that got through the defensive line and all the way down to that goalpost and just inside it. Who cares? It goes in. It goes in. You really don't care. So Nick Folk, a Folk hero, once again, with a big win for the Jets. So we'll get into the Jets win. The Bills with a pretty dominating win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Boy, Aaron Rodgers didn't look good, and he was all bloodied. He had like tape on his nose by the end of it and was taking, dare I say, full responsibility after the game. We can get into that as well. And, of course, my Giants will tee it up tonight, Boy Green, against the New England Patriots. Could maybe help some people there in the AFC. The Bills, I would think, Giants fans tonight as they take on the Pats. And that will be a difficult matchup in New England. Giants are, according to our sheet, 7.5-point underdogs. I did take them in the point, so hopefully my Giants can come through. I even predicted a possibility of not only a close game, but potentially a win. Of course, us Giant fans will get Jackson Dart back in the lineup as well. Boy Green, good morning. Happy Monday, my friend.
Again, it's a beautiful day. Victory Mondays are the best, so much appreciated out there in the universe. So thank you, Manchild. Terrific. Hey, I mean, if only that win would have also been part of my bet, I'd have a lot more beard today, Lurch. But unfortunately, that bet was not included for the Falcons game. But hey, no tanking over here in Jets land. I love the wins. That's great for AG. It's great for his culture. And we'll see if the Jets can keep stacking them up.
All right. So, look, it's always nicer to come into these shows on a Monday with at least a couple of W's because, man, it has been lean for all of us New York sports fans. Even the Bills, somewhat mid, really, this year when it's all said and done. I mean, they're probably going to make the playoffs. And I guess there's still an outside chance that they could win that division if New England kind of falls apart, but not very likely at this particular point. But we've seen stranger things. Did we not see the Rams go down to Carolina yesterday? My goodness. We saw many upsets. We saw Kansas City not get the job done and put themselves in great peril. We saw the Lions lose again. I mean, we are seeing teams that were quality teams last year and with high expectations this year suddenly kind of meh. Kind of mediocre, dare I say. So it's nice. Anytime you get a W, you'll always take those W's. So is this Aaron Glenn era growing on you a little bit, Boy Green? I mean, how you feeling about your coach these days? Now you got to win on top of a couple of competitive games. Is the momentum starting to come around here for Aaron Glenn? And should Jet fans just kind of cool their jets and RELAX, as their once quarterback at one point said?
Yeah, quick nugget, by the way. Not only did I take Carolina in our, schedule picking with the spread, I took them straight up. So some nice money made there with the old family, taking them straight up to beat the Rams at home. I had a feeling. So that was juicy. So thank you to the Vegas Overlords for that one. Thank you very much. We don't win often versus Vegas, so when we do, we must cherish it. Yes. I would say this on all the AG stuff, and he has him fighting every week. They were outmatched against Baltimore by all the experts. They competed. They were outmatched against New England. They competed. They just took out the Falcons, and the Falcons are topsy-turvy, but they've beaten the Buffalo Bills this year. Like, and the Buffalo Bills was supposed to be this crazy team. And so it was a nice win there for the Jets. And they're doing it without no Quentin Williams, no Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson still on injured reserve. So the way that they've been doing it, Aaron Glenn clearly has the pulse here. I heard Albert Breer and a couple other of those insiders around the league saying, wow, Aaron Glenn's starting to turn heads with keeping his team competitive despite what their roster looks like, and that some positive signs for the future. Jets have 2 first-round picks this upcoming draft. They got 3 first-round picks a following draft. They've got a bunch of second-round picks. The Jets are in a prime position to turn this thing around. Of course, you just have to get the quarterback position right, and the Jets don't have it right. Tyrod Taylor's been an upgrade over Justin Fields. That's not exactly saying much. So he's been okay for now, but the Jets will certainly be looking for a new quarterback in 2026. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I know there was some discussion. I was actually tuning into a little of your show earlier this morning about what the Jets should do come draft time about that quarterback thing. And I think, I don't know if I'm in with the majority and the minority, but considering what's on the table right now in terms of quarterbacks likely to come out this year and be available during the draft, of course, there's still time for things to change, but I think we've got a pretty good snapshot of what's going on here. We have seen some improvement from Arch Manning, so I don't know where his draft stock would be at the moment, but certainly that last name is probably going to bump him up a few spots, I would think, regardless of performance. Just the thought of somebody with that blood has probably got it, coursing through their veins that they're of NFL quality. After all, there have been 3 Mannings who have now made it as quarterbacks in the NFL. Why not a 4th? So you've got that specter, and then you've got other guys that are playing well. I mean, the kid from Indiana. I mean, what a season Indiana.
Fernando Mendoza.
Yes. My goodness. I mean, that's just a program like that has been down as long as it's been down, competing in a very, very tough league. And look at what they've done. You have to hold that quarterback responsible for some of that.
Plays Ohio State this weekend. We'll see how he competes in the championship game.
And then they're going to be in the playoff, sure, after the season they've had. So that is a remarkable, remarkable story in college football. Maybe the most remarkable or the most intriguing to me as a longtime college football fan is that Indiana is in this, that their coach is doing what he's doing, and that that quarterback is leading the way. So that's a really, really cool story. But I think majority, you tell me, Boy Green, I still think the Jets should just, wherever they land. Now, they've gotten a win. And I don't know. I know you're happy when the Jets get a win, just like I'm always happy when the Giants win. But then there's this thing of we're getting to the end of the season and these wins don't mean anything. They mean, okay, Jets pride. They mean like, we're competitive. But in the end, it all is just going towards one pile. And that pile happens in April. And that's, where are you picking? Do you have an advantage or a disadvantage come that time of the year when you're trying to rebuild for next year and years to come? And the Jets are in that state, just like my Giants are in that state. So do you want wins, Boy Green, at this point of the season or not? Give me your thoughts on that. We have talked about tanking a lot over the years on our radio show and now into our digital world. What are your thoughts? Are you genuinely excited that the Jets won? Or are you like, excited? Yeah, that's been great. But, man, if they could have just, lost that thing in overtime, I would have been okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, genuine excitement for me. I can't speak for other Jet fans, but I know a lot of Jet fans. So here's what happened. Here's the results, and we'll work backward. Right now, if the draft started today, the Jets would have the 7th overall pick. What a crazy Sunday night football game for anyone who stayed up for that one, as did I, for the overtime Commanders-Broncos game. That was wild, and Commanders going for 2 to try to win it at the end. It was wide open, and Marcus said the pass batted down. Unbelievable. And so the Jets ended up picking 7th because of that Commanders result, if the draft started today. If the Jets had lost to the Falcons, they'd be ahead of your Giants. They'd be picking 3rd overall in the draft right now, and they would have among the highest odds to land the number 1 overall pick. Right now it's fleeting. The Jets are the final team of the 5 that are still in the race, potentially because of the numbers to be in, but their percentage is not existent. As a matter of fact, if your Giants win tonight against the Patriots, they will essentially be eliminated from getting the number 1 overall pick because of all these tiebreakers and other nuggets and situations. Or something to consider for the tanking crowd when we spin this conversation back to you. But no, for me, it's all about wins. If AG was a lame duck coach, maybe I would feel differently. Like he's clearly gone and the new regime's coming in, then I would feel less good about the wins probably. But AG's in his first year. He's clearly coming back. He's clearly building something here. He is selling something to these players that clearly they're buying, that they're fighting in on a week-to-week basis with motivation. So no, I hope the Jets win out. I hope they go 8-9. I hope they're outside the top 10. That'd be terrific if they end up or able to turn that around personally. So I had no reservations. No, the meme where I'm smiling, but the sad face is sort of floating out there. It's all real for me. I know a lot of other Jet fans are disappointed, but here's the thing at the end of the day that I think about, and it's twofold. One, there apparently is no prospect, especially at quarterback, that is worthy right now at this moment in time on December 1st of being the clear number 1 overall pick. Unquestioned, he's the guy, the Joe Burrow of this class. There is no Joe Burrow from what experts say. And number two, the Jets, no matter where they've picked, have screwed it up. Zach Wilson, 2nd overall. They've picked guys, Darren Lee, former Ohio State product. Speaking of Ohio State, 20th overall. He stunk. They've picked 1st, 5th, 10th, 20th, 25th, and they've screwed it up no matter where the hell they've picked. So for me to be sold, oh, Paul, but this is the year that you want the top pick. To me, I think it's the decision makers. Wherever you are, you can pick. The Jets drafted Darrelle Revis with the 14th overall pick. He's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Do you think the 13 teams ahead of him would have went, probably should have taken that guy? Maybe. Players slip in the draft all the time. It's about the people who make those decisions. So, no, I'm not beating myself up among the draft pick. The Jets have a lot of picks. If truly there's a quarter, like let's say your Giants end up with the number 1 overall pick, which is a distinct possibility, or the Titans, who currently have it. They don't need a quarterback. If the Jets fall in love with a quarterback, they can call up the Titans, offer the world, get that pick, and get the franchise quarterback that they want if that is what they choose to do. If it's not, they can stick where they are and just take whatever player falls into their lap. So I think the Jets are in a win-win situation, personally.
Yeah, unless there is that quarterback he dreams, and I don't know that it's coming out this year because doesn't feel like there are any sure things. Not that any of them are sure things. Everybody thought Trevor Lawrence was a sure thing. Yikes. Andrew Luck, who was a good quarterback, but let's face it, injuries really curtailed his career. They expected to have that guy QB in them for 12 to 15 years. So that didn't happen. So in a certain sense, even that was somewhat of a disappointment. So, I just think it's always a crapshoot. And I'll have to say this, though. When my team, and I'm talking about the Giants here, when the Giants were quarterbackless, I was definitely kind of like, when the season was where it is, say now, I was kind of like, all right, let's not win anymore. We really don't need to win. I mean, like, as much as of course, you sit in front of the TV and you say, come on, punch it in, win. At the end of it, they didn't win. I was like, okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's going to help things a little bit, But the funny thing about it is, now that we have a QB, now I don't care because, sure, picking number 1 is always an advantage no matter what position you're picking. But, you can get a great defensive player or a great lineman or something if you're picking somewhere in the top 10, which is certainly where the Giants are going to be at worst. So, I mean, who cares? But if you are in the market for that quarterback, as the Giants were, I was kind of quietly, covertly, rooting for them to lose, especially at the very end of the season. Usually I would kind of hold off until we get to like the last 4 or 5 weeks. I'm like, all right, we're pretty in good shape here. We're number 2 as of today. So let's not drop any further than that. Let's just stay at number 2 and go from there. That was kind of the way that I felt about it, even though every time, of course, I got in front of the television set, I was like, come on, let's go win this thing. But then when it didn't win, I wasn't all that disappointed. So that's kind of where I was. Yeah. And isn't it ironic that the Giants, who now seem to have their quarterback, I mean, we'll see. Jackson Dart is, he is what he is right now, but he looks like
you got to feel good. Yeah.
Isn't it ironic that the Giants didn't need that high pick to get him? As a matter of fact, they picked another player, Abdul Carter, at number 3 last year, because he was the best available. And then they said, we'll roll the dice, or AKA, throw a dart at the dartboard here for Jackson Dart. And they moved up into the first round to get Jackson Dart. But they picked him much later in the first round, and they end up with what likely will be 2 very good players for their franchise going through. So get back to my point of the whole thing. My point of the whole thing is, I don't think the Jets should trade. I think they should stand pat wherever they end up picking and just get another player to add to this roster to make this team better. Don't force the quarterback thing, because the Giants didn't force it. I mean, sure, they traded up into the first round, but they didn't give away the fort, in order to essentially get up a bit and get a guy that they felt had a pretty good chance. And now that pretty good chance looks like it might have turned into the lottery ticket. So we'll see. But I think the Jets should do the same thing, because it's proving time and time again that these top guys, Kyler Murray. I mean, I'll get the list up in a minute. I mean, they're just out there, okay? Number 1 picks or number 2 or number 3 picks, and they've been disasters. They've been very, very uninspiring. And guys that were picked even in later rounds have, in some cases, become better and franchise quarterback pieces. So you can't force the quarterback thing unless there's a transcendent guy. Every once in a while, a Peyton Manning does come along. A John Elway does pop up, and Eli Manning is on the radar, and you got to go, okay, we got to go do something here. We got to consider giving away a little of our future to get this piece that is so integral to our success. So every once in a while, you got to do that. But I'm not a big fan of trading up for it. Are you? It sounds like you're kind of waffling on that. So tell me where you stand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a general agreement with you that I let the draft fall to me. You know what? Everyone's going to go crazy over certain things. The Jets right now have the 7th overall pick. They're going to get a player that's worthy of being a top 7 player in this draft. And the Jets, spoiler alert, have no shortage of needs. There's a million things they could address. And I imagine there's going to be some player at some point available at pick 7 that would help the Jets with what they need. It's not going to be like, geez, we don't have any needs and we have nothing to use this for. But I am of the belief that this is a quarterback-driven league. And if the Jets don't get a quarterback, it doesn't matter what else they do with this roster. Until this is a quarterback-driven league, you need to find a quarterback. If this regime believes that someone in this draft, even if we don't, if they believe Fernando Mendoza or whatever the name of the quarterback is, oh my goodness, we've identified this guy. This guy's clearly a franchise quarterback. He's top 5, top 7 quarterback material. When I say that, I mean you draft him, you believe he can be that good at the NFL level, then you do whatever it takes under any circumstance to get that guy. But I'm with the beginning of what you said. If they don't believe that someone's in here, I don't want them to just randomly take a swing and say, maybe this guy, we don't think he's the guy, but maybe he will be. Like, no, use the picks on all these other needs that you have. But if there's a belief in that building, as a fan, I give the benefit of the doubt to the organization. Darren Muji has done some savvy trades and made some savvy moves so far. I'm like, all right, I like the cut of this guy's jib. If he thinks this guy's a franchise quarterback, God, I hope he's right. And let's go to war. But in a general sense, if it was up to me, I'd probably just stick where they are and just build this team because they have a lot of needs. But if a quarterback falls into your lap at 7, which could happen, right? We see some years we think quarterbacks are hyped up, then all of a sudden they don't go, and then they just stumble into your lap. Sometimes you get lucky. Bo Nix is a good example. He was the 12th overall pick in that draft class, the 6th quarterback taken in the top 12, and he looks terrific. So sometimes you just get lucky. So maybe the Jets can get lucky too.
Yeah, I just don't force a square peg into a round hole just because you're desperate. Like, desperation doesn't usually breed good results. So don't act from a place of desperation. Act from a place of need, always trying to improve your roster. That's what good organizations do. And I agree with you. I mean, as much as I've had my problems over the years with certain Giants GMs, even when Dave Gettleman was in charge, if I bring up a recent one who maybe is not on my favorites list anymore, I'd still have to say, in organization I trust. Like, I have to trust the organization to get the job done. And I know it's tough for Jet fans because that organization hasn't delivered a championship since 1969. But you do have to put a certain amount of faith in the organization, or you're just going to be on an island. You're just going to be a chronic complainer. You're just going to be somebody who, then you should go find yourself another fandom because these are the cards you've been dealt. You can scream from the rooftops for the GM's head if that's who the problem is. You can't really get rid of the owner, unfortunately. Take it from a Knick fan, okay? And for many years, I would love to have disposed of our owner, but you can't dispose of an owner. It's kind of their choice.
That's correct.
And the GM is the GM, and you just hope that your ownership makes good choices. So we'll see what Muji can do, but it is a very fascinating position that the Jets are in. And if they do start piling up some wins, how does that affect things? We'll see. But they do. The good thing is they do have a bunch of picks to play with. But I think they should take advantage of those picks and get multiple good players rather than go the other way. I was a big proponent of absolutely please draft Abdul Carter. A little disappointed, frankly, in what he's become so far. But I was at that time, go get this guy. This is a need that we have, and this looks like a guy who could be a transcendent player. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, unfortunately. But at the time, that's what I felt. I think a lot of GMs across the NFL would have agreed with me. We'll see. That guy's career is still very much in front of him. Maybe with a new coaching staff, maybe with some new things in place, they get his attention and get him playing up to the ability that he's capable
half
of.
A sack. I just can't believe he's been unbelievable. He seemed like the can't miss, clear as day, primo position, primo player. The fact that it hasn't worked out, especially with all the other talent the Giants have, so no one's focusing on Abdul. How is he not dominated? It's bizarre.
If he had 7 or 8 sacks this year, it would be somewhat disappointing. But the fact that he has a half a sack is almost, absurd. But, again, he's a rookie, and rookies have to learn. And
everyone's
different. I hate when, I don't say, I love when the truth is out there, because we all seek the truth in life, right? With our teams, with all kinds of things, and I'm sure in politics and other things, we want the truth, right? We want to know what's really going on. Then we can make an educated decision. The stories that have been leaking and have been written since Brian Dable's departure have not been flattering of Brian Dable and Brian Dable's control, Brian Dable's accountability level with players and with people in the organization. It just seems like it was loosey-goosey. All right. That's what's kind of coming out. So my hope is that maybe Dable just wasn't the right coach for Abdul Carter, and Abdul Carter can still become the player. But again, back to my point, Carter to me was the right pick. And then they showed patience, and then Dart was dropping. There were a lot of rumors that he could go a lot higher. All of a sudden, he was kind of available in that area, and the Giants were like, look, we have enough ammo here to try and go in and talk to this team and trade up and go get a guy that could be our guy. Let's take a swing here. We got a reasonable chance to take a swing, and we don't have to give up the entire, palace here to get it. And so they made that move, and it looks like they swing and hit.
100%.
So we'll see if those two guys work out. That is a great, epic first round for all Giants football fans. But it's got to work out, and Abdul Carter has to turn into a number 3 drafted guy and the top position player that was taken in that draft. My God, come on, man. So we'll see what happens with Carter. But I still agree with that. And I think the Jets would be wise to exercise a similar strategy, to just not get too crazy about things and trade up just to trade up. Okay. Teams will take advantage of you in this situation. They know you're desperate, so they're going to take advantage of you. You never want to be desperate in a trade. We've talked about this in fantasy for years. Don't be desperate. Just trade in a calculated way, in a way that makes sense, in a way that's going to improve your roster. That's the way to improve a fantasy team. I know we just do it in the fantasy world, but that's the reality of it as well. Let's say hello to some people in the comments. And boy, is it great to be back. By the way, happy, belated Thanksgiving to everyone. I know we wished you on our way out last week. Happy Thanksgiving, but we've had a bunch of days off. Paul has been decompressing up in New Hampshire, and now is back home again. I ended up spending the holidays right here in central New York. I didn't take the road. I'll be hitting the road for Christmas, so I'll be on the long road during the Christmas holiday.
I'll be home, yeah.
And you'll be home, so we'll be oppos. But we'll still be doing our thing. But no, it was a great weekend. Again, I give thanks to my family and to the great food and to all the wonderful things that I have in my life. And I hope you all out there feel the same way. And it's just nice to be back. It's just nice to be talking football. Man, 3 games on Thanksgiving, Paul, and they were all great.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit and Green Bay. Green Bay wins that one 31-24. Dallas and Kansas City, both in must-win kind of things. And the Cowboys find a way to win at home against the Chiefs. It looked like it might not happen. And Dallas delivered. Another good performance from Dak Prescott. And the return of Joe Burrow in the nightcap, destroying Baltimore when it was all said and done. And, oh, my God, is that division up in the air? The Steelers lost again. Baltimore has now taken on another loss. Cincinnati, could Burrow win out? Could they win out? They've got a tough schedule, including 2. All right. Well, they have 1. They're going to get another one against Baltimore. So they have a very tough sledding. But Joe Burrow seems to add an energy to that team that we haven't seen in a long time. What was your take on the Thanksgiving games, Boy Green?
Yeah, I mean, again, we gave, I won't say we, I'll speak for myself. So I'll go chronologically in order. So Packers-Lions is first. And I'm like, week 1, the Lions got run out of town by Green Bay. They're going to show up. Like, they need to, at the very least, hold serve and make it 1-1 against the Packers and let's go to town. And the fact that they just seemed out of sorts. I mean, I couldn't believe the Matt LaFleur timeout that wasn't a timeout. There was a clear false start on Green Bay, and Matt LaFleur clearly didn't make the timeout in time, but the referees honored it and gave it to him. And then in the postgame, he winked at the media reporter and said, "Oh, I got it in time." Wink. I was just like, oh, LaFleur. So I'm sure Lions fans are upset about some of the officiating that occurred there. That seemed very clear. That should have been
The
a false start.
replay really showed him not even signaling the timeout, and then they were trying to excuse him. Maybe he was saying it vocally. It's like, I don't know about that.
And that changed everything.
Go, time.
Right.
We do it at the same time. We don't go,
yeah,
time.
Yeah, right. Definitely not.
Nobody does that, right?
It makes no sense. So that changed the game because the Packers ended up scoring a touchdown on that play that they shouldn't have, and who knows what would have happened. So that's bizarre. But shout out to Green Bay, who I don't think is the impressive team I thought they were back in the beginning of the season. But hey, they're well into the thick of it. Now we have serious question about the Lions. Are the Lions going to make the playoffs? Chicago takes care of business on Black Friday. I don't want to jump ahead here, but in that same division, they have a massive win, which launches them in this unbelievable place. So yeah, NFC North is going to be wild, and that's super exciting. Again, the Chiefs Cowboys, desperation was the word one of our insiders used last week to describe what these two teams were going through. Both of them needed it desperately. And the Chiefs, hearing Chiefs fans complain about officiating and the Chiefs coaches and Patrick Mahomes, I don't know. There's sort of something weird about that. I'm going to be honest. For a team that has been benefited from all of these officiating over the years, and their lines are going, guys, would you believe the officials? And we're all looking at the Chiefs like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Right.
So George Pickens continues to be a monster. I mean, one of the – there are players every year that we call the player of the year, like a surprise, a this, a that. Like George Pickens has been unbelievable. What a terrible trade by the Pittsburgh Steelers. They gave him away for a third-round pick. I mean, unbelievable win for Dallas, which is terrific. And they take out the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs are in desperation mode. And again, Joe Burrow. I know, Lurch, you talked up a very big game in every moment that you've been live on this show saying, hey, Joe Burrow coming back. That's a factor. Like, and you said it even the week before when we thought maybe he could come back and then he didn't. But you just thought Joe Burrow coming back would be there. And a lot of people had a lot of, doubt saying, I don't know, this guy's been out for 9 games. The Bengals, their record appears out of place. The Ravens or Steelers are clearly going to run away with this division. So whatever Joe Burrow coming back is just something for the fans. Like, it has no real impact on the division, or so we thought. And then that thumping and the way the rest of things are playing out, you're like, wait just a second here. Are we about to get something interesting? And so captivating. I know the NFL schedule makers, and I will have to maybe move that over here and do it if that's of interest to you, Lurch. I talked to one of the 5 people that are in the room every year making the NFL schedule. I'm such a nerd about that process. And I have them on every year after the schedule to get into the Jet stuff, but in the overall NFL sense. And that they pick these games somewhat out of a hat, and they hope that the teams are competitive or interesting or storylines or something. And the fact that we got 3 bangers, triple header of action, of intrigue. Shout out to the NFL schedule makers. It's a thankless job. It's an impossible job to do so many months in advance, but they did a terrific job. The triple header of Thanksgiving football was so much fun. Great food being eaten while watching it. And it was marvelous.
That's always fun, man. The food. And like I said, you really don't get bothered. It's the one day you don't get bothered usually by the family about, hey, I'm, got one eye on the game and you're at the table. I know people, consider the dinner table, at least some people, a sacred place. But on Thanksgiving, it's a shared thing with the television, As a matter of fact, you should have one nearby, just to be able to take a peek at during the 15 or 20 minutes or 25 minutes you're sitting at the dinner table, man, because you don't want to miss some great action. And they have been rolling out great football. And I love that they do it all day and into the night now. I love it that they have the night game as well. It used to just be the 2-day games. They've increased it to add that night game, and it feels like a Sunday, and it should feel like a Sunday when you've got that continuous thing. My wife was asking me yesterday. It's amazing that I do sports and she's with me because she knows all the things I do. She hears me talk sports with people all the time. She knows right. And so this is typical. How yesterday she's like, "So is there another game tonight?" I was like, "Honey, every Sunday." And I mean every Sunday, okay? There are games all day. They start at 1. There's games at 4 and 4:30-ish, okay? The second round of games, several games at that time. And then there's the Sunday night football game. And by the way, there's also Monday night football and Thursday night football, okay? And that's every week. And then you get these special weeks where you get 3 games on a Thursday just because it happens to be Thanksgiving, a Black Friday game, right? And then when we get into the playoffs, by the way, we'll have Saturday and Sundays going for a couple of weeks when college, when the college football season ends and pros is still going on.
And think about the beginning of the season. We had German and London football at 9:30 in the
9:30
morning.
in the morning, right? I didn't even include that. Okay, I didn't even want to go down that road with her.
Sure.
I was just like, but honey, you can count on every Sunday, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8:20. Okay, every Sunday. I didn't want to get that shit. I didn't even go down that road. But I was like, how do you know? How are you with me? How do you not know
That's a good
this?
point.
Like, it's just by assimilation. Even if you're not mildly interested, it just happens to
be aware of
cross your radar for crying out loud. But it doesn't. What can I tell you? It is what it is. I love her to death, but she doesn't know anything about sports. That is for sure. All right. Welcome aboard again, everybody. Today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Bayberry Automotive. Integrity in everything. We'll hear just in a couple minutes from our friends at Bayberry. Just want to acknowledge some people in the chat this morning, and feel free to jump into the chat and throw your comments up, questions. Good morning to Big Al. Big Al, by the way, congrats, man. Looks like you're rolling to a fantasy victory, and a much needed one, Al, for you, with everybody kind of breathing down your neck in fantasy. So I don't know if it's mathematically done, but Al may have nearly locked up his place in the playoffs with that win that he's assuredly going to get. I know there's still one entity to go.
The kicker, the Patriots kicker is available, and he's currently up 49 points.
Yeah, so a kicker getting 49 has never happened. So I think you're safe, Al. I hate to ever say it's over until it's over. Boy Green, by the way, in an absolute pillow fight of a battle. And I have to say, Boy Green, I'm sorry, I'm rooting against you, because if you lose, my magic number right now is 1 to clinch first place. That is me win or you lose, okay? One entity over this week and next week. And if you lose, because I'm going to lose this week, if you lose, then I've locked in the number 1 seed, okay? Because I'm going to have it between points and record, and you won't be able to catch me even if you tie me next week. If I lose, you win. So I am rooting against you. So I am a Travion Henderson fan tonight, and I am a Stephon Diggs hater tonight. That's not hard to do anyway for me. So there you go. So I'm rooting against Diggs and for Henderson. It literally is a head-to-head with Boy Green. Just look at it, 82-80. This is a horrendous. This is a full PPR league here, folks. All right, a horrendous pillow fight between him and Brandon, whose team name is America's Team. He's a big Cowboys fan, battling in an absolute pillow fight. Brandon needs this one badly, Boy Green, badly. You do not need it as badly as he does. You are locked into the playoffs. Now you're fighting for seeding. And, of course, you'd love to be one of those top 2 seeds, and you could even knock me off and be the number 1 overall seed with me losing 2 weeks in a row. I have 2 difficult matchups. Obviously, I'm going down this week to Joe Bartle. Boy, and my whole thing, basically losing to Bartle, it came down to pretty much, you hate to say anytime it's one player, but a lot of times it is one player. And for me, it was Jackson Smith-Njigba, who has been fantastic this year. I traded for him a few weeks ago. He's been rock solid. His worst week this season, I think, was like 13 or 16 points. It might be 16 points this whole year. And he puts up like a 4-burger yesterday. It was just putrid, disgusting, despicable. They didn't even throw him the ball. He had a 0 at halftime. I was like watching that game like, are you kidding me? Oh, my God, I needed a good performance out of him to beat Bartle. I'm going to lose by 20, 25 points. JSN, a disaster for me in fantasy. So I'm going down. But if Boy Green goes down, it doesn't matter. Then I am the number 1 seed, and I'll literally put my feet up on the Barker Lounger. I'll play next week and win or lose. Who cares? Playing Brian Drake, the old fantasy guy, and see how that goes. And then I'll sit back for another week of a bye while people are battling it off in the playoffs. I'll be just waiting for my opponent. I'd love to get him, or I'd love to get her. That'll be that. Then I'll finally play a playoff game in 3 weeks down the road. So I would love to have the Barker Lounger out after tonight. So sorry, Boy Green, I'm rooting against you. But if you do win, I'm still in good shape. But man, this just fantasy's fickle. It's so crazy. It is. Fickle. And look at you in this matchup. You would lose to anybody else. You happen to get the one guy in the league who also had a horrendous week. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great. And I'll tell you this, right? So it looks like, again, you never know. Because, right, Travion Henderson, let's just say he has 40 points tonight. Then it won't matter whatever would have happened. But so we're going into this, and Brandon has a 2-point lead tonight heading into this game on Monday Night Football. But last night he had a player playing, it was Deebo Samuel. And throughout the game, Deebo had 1 point. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's going to give me a great advantage. I'll have Stephon Diggs like a 10-point lead going into the Monday Night Football game. That'll make me feel a lot better. But on the final drive, Marcus Mariota finds Deebo Samuel 2 or 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, no, please stop. No, you haven't targeted him all game. And then they go to overtime and they target him again. And I'm like, oh, dear God. So he was able to pile up whatever it is, 13 points here or change, 11 points.
Like he was going to have a disaster.
And it was going to be a disaster. And now he has the lead going into tonight. So we will see. I would imagine. The advantages say he has a 52% advantage. I would imagine
slightly him.
To be honest, I think it'd be even bigger than that because Trayvon's a running back. It's easier to get him the ball than the wide receiver. Wide receiver has to run the right route. He has to be in the progression. Then he has to throw it. There's like 12 different things that have to happen before I even get a catch and a point.
That's right.
And they have 7 receivers. There's like 2 or 3 running backs to choose from. So I'd imagine, despite what the analytics say, that I have a much less of a chance to win than they suggest. But you know what? Every once in a while, a receiver could go off, could go crazy, and I'm begging to the football gods that occurs.
You're going touchdown hunting tonight. You need Diggs to get one, and you don't, and you need Travion not to get one, and that could happen.
Ramondre Stevenson action, right? Yeah,
but because he splits them up, and they do that. I lost one yesterday. Bijan had a great day, but he could have had another touchdown. They gave the ball to Algier at the 1. They let Bijan run it the first time. He got him to the half-yard line, and they're like, Algier, and Bijan.
I saw that.
The first time I've seen this, and I'll tell you, teams better watch this stuff. I'm telling you, when you have a transcendental, a transformative running back.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got a franchise running back, and Bijan definitely is one of those guys right now. There are only a couple of them in the NFL right now. You got to treat those guys well. And I think one of the things that happens with a lot of these teams is they have goal line guys, linemen and extra tight ends and, bigger receivers to come in for goal line situations, particularly when it's a running situation. And then they've got, the battering ram running back. And it just over the years, it has just kind of been. Tyler Algier is a really good running back. He could probably start for a lot of teams. All right.
Sure.
So I'm not knocking his talent at all. But you can't let Bijan bring you down the whole field and then hand it to the other guy. I mean, it reminds me of that the movie with the kid from Kilmer was the coach. The movie.
Tongue. Oh my God!
Goodness, I can't think of it right now.
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues. The guy from Dawson's Creek. I was going to say.
Yes.
So James Vanderbeek. Varsity Blues, where he won't give that running back. In this case, they make it a racial thing because I think he's African American. He doesn't.
Right.
He gives it to the white guy at the goal line. All right. And finally, they rebel against the coaches as you're going in, and they send him in. But that guy was just always getting robbed the touchdowns because they would just bring in the other guy. And this is the same case in a lot of organizations, but we've seen it a lot in Atlanta with Bijan. And Bijan was visibly mad. Like you could see on the sideline, he was like a little miffed. He was like looking down at the coach. They caught him kind of on camera.
Yeah.
Dude, give it to me one more time and I'm in. What are you taking me out? It's 2nd and goal at the half-yard line. I just got you all the way there. I almost got you in on that last play. Let me finish it off. Don't run Algier out there. He hasn't done anything. And Algier gets the easy touchdown. With that kind of blocking, any back could have gone in. You really should reward those players that are your bell cow players, because when contract negotiations come up and then they say, I don't think I'm going to take that deal, you might understand why there's no loyalty. How loyal were you to me, coach, when we were at the half-yard line and I could have racked up another touchdown on my season and you decided to give it to the other guy who did nothing? I mean, it's nothing against Algier, and I understand you're playing football games to win, but there is no reason not to give Bijan Robinson the ball down there. Now, he had a fine day. Everything was good.
Yeah, 200-something scrimmage yards.
Total yards. But why would you take a touchdown away from a guy like that? And I said it to you going into this weekend as well, and I'll vamp back to this. We talked about JSN. And we talked about the chase for 2,000.
Yeah.
And listen, that was a bad game script yesterday.
Right.
The way that their opponent played, right? They played Minnesota.
Minnesota imploded.
Awful. Their quarterback situation is a complete disaster.
They didn't have to do anything, basically. Right.
But, and you're right. And they won 26-0. And all's good in Seattle today.
Yeah.
Except by not making a concerted effort during the course of that game to get that guy touches. And why wouldn't you want to give him touches? I mean, my God, he's electric. He can turn anything into a touchdown. All right. And I don't care if he's being double and triple teamed. Okay. You get him the ball in situations, particularly early in the game. Okay.
Right. Get him involved.
He's chasing a record. And by the way, that record is not just for him. That goes to the franchise. It goes in your Hall of Fame. It's up on your walls too. There's pride in the organization. and yet they refused to give him that ball yesterday. Now, I understand game script, and I understand there were reasons, but I still think within the confines of those reasons, Paul, they should have made sure they got on the ball. That has nothing to do with my fantasy team, by the way. I could care less. Okay. I am just talking about what this guy is chasing and what it means. Now, because of that awful day that he had yesterday, 2 catches, I think, for 26 yards, brutal. Yep. Okay. He now has to average 133 yards per game in the remaining games to get to the 2,000. Possible, except because of this terrible day, and that's all you need is one of them when you're chasing 2,000, he has to now average more than he's averaged all season because during the season, not including this dud of a week, he averages about 117 yards a week.
Oof.
So now you're asking him to bump all the way up to 133 for the rest of the year. Guess what, Paul? It's probably not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And it all comes down to we didn't make a concerted effort in a game where clearly the defense was not doing much. They gave up 26 points to us just running Kenneth Walker up the middle. That's a game where you got to pile up some numbers for this guy. You got to get him at least 100 yards in the receiving department. I mean, you just have to. You find a way to do it. You get him screens. You run him on slants.
I would do it if I was a coach.
You stack him. You stack your receivers, and you get you run off a pick or something. You just do stuff to get the guy the ball because you're trying to get him to the record. And now they probably won't because now it'll be too extreme, and they're probably going to get in some tough game where the other team is really going to just lock him down. Period. And they're not. He's going to have another, mediocre day, and that'll be that. But I find it a shame. I just think I know that we should never be focused on individual records in sports when we're team sports, but I think there are times when something's bubbling where you should try at least to contribute to the idea that this could still happen. And I think the Seahawks completely abandoned that yesterday, and it's a little bit of head scratching to me why they would do that. But they won 26-0. They're in the hunt. They're 9-3 team. It's all good in Seattle. So I'm not knocking the franchise and the coach, but I'm just saying, a little head scratching for me as a football fan that this Seattle group didn't do a little bit more to try to keep him somewhat on track. He didn't have to have a monster game, but keep him somewhat on track so that that goal doesn't become unreachable. To me, it's almost unreachable. One more bad week, it's over. So no chance.
We'll be watching both historic stat lines. It's JSN on offense. It's Myles Garrett on defense. He had 1 sack yesterday. I believe he's at 19 sacks now. So he's got 5 games to go with 3.5 or 4.5 left. So he will be another one that's chasing it. Although a little easier to orchestrate offense than orchestrate sacks for the other side. So JSN would have been in that position. Quick answer to Big Al here. So do I pass Bot Green, aka Boy Green, if he loses? I have for folks in fantasy, the number one tiebreaker is points scored. I have a 51 point plus point differential on Big Al. I'm currently whatever it is, 60 points down without my player playing tonight. So long story short, if Stephon Diggs scores at least 9 points tonight, I will be in front of Big Al on the standing. What it really is going to come down to is the final week. So it's sort of window dressing whether or not I'm in front of Big Al as it pertains to this week, because what really matters what happens at the end. But yes, it's points scored. So I've got a 51 point advantage. He's currently up 60. Right now, if my player didn't play, my player is playing, so we'll see what he ends up with. But so it's up in the air, long story short. But here's the thing. If I win, I put myself in a position to separate from other people, and it's just me and Al duking it out for that spot. So that's what I prefer. I'm at 8 wins, so quite frankly, I'd be very close to locking it in if I win.
Al doesn't want you to win. If I'm a proponent of you not winning tonight, Al is a much bigger proponent of you not winning. It's not as meaningful to me as it is to Al. Because if you lose tonight and Al is going to win, you two guys are now tied record-wise, and now it's just a battle of points and plus what you each do next week. Things fall out of Al's control if you win this week, and you're in control.
Yeah, win and you're in. Right. I get my bye week next week, no matter what happens, regardless of the points. So you can, and I see that.
You do, by the way, I saw have a lesser matchup. Not that guarantees anything. It guarantees nothing.
Of course.
Okay, but it certainly, gives you a little bit better chance, per se. The law of averages perhaps is a little bit more in your corner.
And by the way, Big Al, noting that this quote-unquote pillow fight is the game of the week. Hey, you want to know something? I enjoyed when we had a Cardinals-Seahawks Sunday Night Football game a couple years ago that ended 6-6, okay? Sometimes it's not just a sexy points-a-palooza all over the place, Big Al. Have some variety in the diet, pal. This is the game of the week. It is a pillow fight, but you got to win in a lot of different ways in football, okay?
Yeah, I was going to say, what would have been the best match of the week? The fact of the matter is me and Bartle, and it wasn't even that close.
No.
Points wise, we both were very respectable. Joe scored almost 140 points. I scored 120 points. He still beat me by 20. Thank you, JSN. Boy, just a good performance out of him, and I win. And I think.
But here's the other thing:
22 points or something. But nothing else is close this week in our league for the most part. You know, you're the only one. This is a super close battle.
Right. And by the way, right, so the winner of our league from last year is Jabber's Wing Sauces. And he currently, before things will change, obviously tonight, he currently is in the 6th hole, but he lost. Jamie FedEx guy behind him won. Joe Bono behind him won. We may automatically crown a new champion. Our champion may not even make the playoffs, and thus we could crown a new champion this year. Which
he was up there all season, so he's had a late season slide, man. It's just, that hurts, man. You're there, you're really tasting it, and then all of a sudden, very, very quickly, it goes away.
Falls away from you.
Bad weeks, or you have a good week, and then someone just outduels you, beats you 150 to 140, and you're like, what just happened? You know, oh boy.
And unfortunately, Lurch,
very exciting. Yes.
Let's pour one out. It appears that our bottom 3 are locked in. Yes. There will be no drama.
No drama.
For those who are unaware of our leagues, the top 3 in the Champs League, nothing happens because we're already at the top. But the bottom 3 in our Champs League gets kicked down to another league. And Austin beat Russ, so that eliminates some drama for Russ. And then Choptimus Prime, Russ, and Otto Rich will all have 4 wins. And the 9th place team won, so he will have 6 wins. So thus everyone is automatically eliminated. Wow, so literally nothing to play for
Bottom
next week.
3 decided.
Which is unfortunate.
Brutal.
And Lurch, I guess congratulations are in order because now you're officially
the only one now.
The only one that has never been kicked out. So congrats.
I've never been relegated, but I don't like being the only one. Now I got a giant freaking target on my back to be the one. All right, let's just take 30 seconds, learn a little bit more about our friends from Bayberry Automotive, today's sponsor. We'll come back. We'll jump into the comments. Any comments that go up, we'll throw them up here in the next couple of minutes. So if you want to throw up a comment, get yourself on the air with us, do it right now. And we've still got plenty of games to talk about from week 13, which is touching the tip of the iceberg, as they say. All right, be right back. More Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital right after this.
Trust is everything when it comes to auto repairs. At Bayberry Automotive, they take trust seriously. Bayberry has a team of experienced and certified mechanics that are dedicated to providing exceptional customer service. And Bayberry stands behind its work with an exceptional 5-star rating from its many satisfied customers. Family run, integrity in everything. Bayberry Automotive, BayberryAutomotive.com.
Located on Route 57 across from Bayberry Plaza, the premier choice for auto repair in Liverpool.
All right, we are back, Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Hey, by the way, Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's like the spirit of giving, Boy Green. So we're starting to give stuff away in the spirit of Christmas. I love to do giveaway stuff, all right? So first thing that's up for grabs, I mentioned this last week, but I'll show it again here. This is a Bobby Mercer autographed baseball right there. Beautiful. Bobby Mercer autograph. I got this autographed myself when I met Mercer a number of years ago. So for all you Yankee fans, all you have to do is be one of our first 400 subscribers. We're less than 25 subscribers away, and then this thing goes out the door. If you already are subscribed to the channel, you've already got your lottery ticket. So corral a friend, tell somebody, or if you're in the room right now and you're not a subscriber, just go click on that subscribe button. You see the link right down below. If you're watching us on Facebook or X or someplace else, just go over to YouTube because this is our home portal, youtube.com/MC Show Digital. You can do that right on your phone and become a subscriber. We'd love for you to be part of our growing family. So Bobby Mercer baseball, hopefully going out the door soon. We need less than 25 subscribers to give that away. And we've been talking about this one for a number of weeks, but I'll remind you again, once we get to 500, we're only about 125 away from that. We're giving away this Cleveland brand new driver. It's a Highbore XL. It's a $400 golf club. It is still wrapped up in the paper. It was donated by our friends at Play It Again Sports, one of our many loyal sponsors, and that is going out the door to someone in our first 500 subscribers once we get to the magic number of 500. So if there's anything that you can do to make that journey a little bit quicker for us, it's a gift potentially coming to you a little bit quicker as well. So those are just a couple of things here in the Christmas spirit. And Boy Green and I are already talking about some other giveaways to do as well. So join us for that giveaway, but only less than 25 away for the Bobby Mercer autographed baseball going out the door. So jump in right now and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. BG?
And by the way, I don't know, math wasn't my subject of choice in college, Lurch, and I don't know if that's one of your many classes that you teach at the variety of universities that you teach at, but we have 200 people in the room. and we're 25 away. It sounds like with the right
Easy peasy,
nudging,
right? Sure, we could get it
this
today.
could happen live on the show right
be
now.
awesome.
So again,
That'd be awesome.
youtube.com/MC Show Digital. You guys can win a bunch of free stuff and be involved and engaged. So if you guys are watching across any of our social media platforms, you can pop in via Facebook, YouTube, MC Show Digital, or at BoyGreen25 on my YouTube or Twitter page. Make sure you subscribe right now. We're going to be doing a lot of free giveaways. You guys can have the prizes for yourself. Be selfish. That's fine with me. Or Christmas is right around the corner, so you guys can get gifts that you can immediately gift away. It's like that fruit cake that travels across America. I've been told there's only one fruit cake, but it just keeps getting passed to everybody. So maybe perhaps you can start your own fruit cake legend here by winning some of these prizes and pass it on to your friends. Feel free to
The cool thing about YouTube and the reason we're pushing all of you, and I know a lot of you watch us and listen to our videos and watch our videos on many of the portals that we're out on, because we're all over social. We use Instagram, we use Facebook, we use Twitter. I'm talking to Paul about possibly even using TikTok in the not too distant future as a potential portal as well. But YouTube is home base, and that's where not only are you getting our stuff as soon as it's coming out, usually the quickest, but also it has our entire archive. You could go back and watch anything that we've done since July 1st, when we really started this channel in earnest, So, you can go back and watch anything. There's lots of fun interviews, things that are not so time pressed. And we keep all of our interviews basically in our YouTube archive, plus all our shorts. We have hundreds of shorts now on all kinds of topics and fun stuff. And, if you're a Survivor fan, you could go watch Survivor videos. We create playlists. So if you go into the playlist section on YouTube, you can see different categories. We have all Jets stuff categorized, all Giant stuff, all Bills stuff, Survivor stuff, fantasy football stuff. We have all that stuff categorized out. So now you can just go in and watch the things that you want to watch and not have to watch everything if that's not what you want to do. So I don't expect you to have to love every single bit of content we put out there. But if you become part of our little family, you can just be in your little niche and live in that niche and enjoy those things that we do for you. So hopefully you'll become a subscriber. As Boy Green said, it's just as easy as that. YouTube.com/MC Show Digital. And just click on subscribe. And like I said, get us to 400. That Bobby Mercer ball will go out the door. You could be that lucky winner. And then when we get to 500, that golf club is going out the door as well. We will ship it to you if you are not local. So you do not have to be local. And I will handle the shipping cost. Okay. That's coming out of my pocket. All right. Wow. So hopefully it's going to somebody really cool and really good. All right. Anyway, so that I just wanted to get that out. Let me jump some comments here, Boy Green. I'll work my way down through the top here. All right. So we said Al with the good morning. Good morning to you as well, Al. Did I pop that up before? Al, good morning. Let me go to Jamie here, who says the Bears, you're going down, Al.
Yeah.
All right. So the Bears, by the way, I want to mention this on the Bears before we get off that. The Bears, as of right now, who would have thought at the beginning of the season we'd be saying this? And I told you I thought the Bears were a playoff team. Remember mentioning
Yes.
This is not a shock for me, Boy Green, that the Bears are legit. But I don't even think I would have said the Bears, number one seed in the NFC. As of right now, if the playoffs were today, the Bears are the number one seed. They're getting the bye. They're getting home field throughout the whole 9 yards. The Bears right now, because of their head-to-head and their overall record, they are the number one seed in the NFC right now. Incredible.
Wow. Look at them at 9-3. Again, a big help, of course, because Carolina upset the Rams, who seemed on the collision course for the number one seed. And all of a sudden, things got a lot more interesting. Seattle's 9-3. The Rams are 9-3. Eagles are at 8-4. And that was a big one because the Bears and Eagles played at the top of that conference. So, man, that Chicago would be in this position is pretty stunning.
All right. Jamie keeping busy in the contents. He said, I took the Jets to win, also took the Commanders to win. They almost pulled it out. So I guess he had a little bet going on there, kind of fun stuff. And Jamie also chiming in with, goodbye, Courtney, Russ, Austin, Manchild, lone survivor, never to finish in bottom three since start of the Champs League in 2017. Jamie is our resident historian when it comes to our Champs Fantasy League. He's been in the league for many years himself. All right. And he is our great historian. He just remembers all these odd facts that no one else knows. I think he has some kind of, record book or something at home that he keeps. So again, as we were just saying a few minutes ago, our bottom three is thing, but Big Al with a great comeback here, Al, way to come right back at him. Put an asterisk on that, Jamie. You finished the bottom 3 2 seasons ago and got a government bailout. I love the way you put that. That is fantastic.
It is true. It is true. Occasionally bailouts occur.
True. It is true. Even Boy Green has gotten a bailout as well.
I have. Shout out to my beautiful fiance. She won the Chumps League and she had a spot available. She said, I don't want to do that live draft. And I said, do you want to Help me. I've never finished in the bottom 3, but I happen to finish in the bottom 3 the same year that you finished in the top 3. She said, it's all yours. And I'm like, that's the greatest Christmas gift of all time. So thank God.
And Jamie chiming right back in, of course, with, yeah, Al and Boy Green got a call back too. I don't think Al got a call back. Al's earned his way back.
Yeah, I think Al has earned his way back. And I would also say this, that again, thankfully, it's not just a callback like, hey, Boy Green, we need you to fill in a spot. And again, my fiance won the league, so she could do whatever she wanted with the spot. So thank you for being married to the right part of the family. That's for sure.
Convenient. Yeah. We were talking about the Jets QB situation. And another one out there. Easy agrees with me. Don't trade up for a quarterback. Easy. I'm with you on that. Totally agree. Al's coming back here on the I should have gotten a bailout, beat you twice that year and finished ahead of you. I'm just jealous. So there you go.
There has been some politicking going on when an opportunity presents itself, who should be getting said opportunity. Al has a good case of that. Yeah.
And Al's a big time Cowboys fan. He said Dallas beat both Super Bowl participants in 4 days. That actually is remarkable. That they beat both Philadelphia and Kansas City. Of course, they played on Sunday and then on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, 4 days later, and then beat Kansas City. So they had beaten the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl in back-to-back games within a 4-day span. So kudos to you, Cowboys fan. I guess the Cowboys are not completely out of it yet. I thought they were dead.
Yeah.
But they're not dead yet. Whew.
And Al, I wish I could say that you saying that right now, it's the first time I've heard of that, but actually I spent the last week with my family, and my father brought that up every 5 seconds. So, yes, he said that several times, that they beat the Super Bowl participants. Yes.
All right. Jamie coming in with another comment here saying he's no longer drafting rookie running backs.
Ashton Genty.
He has Ashton Genty on his team. That has not worked out.
Sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. Yeah. No.
Oh, my goodness.
What a disaster.
What is Jamie saying here? Boy Green better win tonight, buddy. I'm coming for my number 2 seed. He wants
get out of here.
This greedy, you know what?
Well, because here's the thing, fantasy is we have 12 teams in our league. 6 teams make it. Top 2 seeds get a bye. The other 4 play, and then the winners, not the winners and losers. Losers go to the consolation bracket. No one cares about that. 2 winners move on to play the bye teams. Look at my season. I'm in a pillow fight in an 80-80 battle, for God's sake.
If you get the win, it won't matter.
100%. Weird stuff happens in fantasy. I want the bye. I want to avoid whatever fantasy has in store for us that week. There have been seasons where you're the best team in the league and anything can happen. And then on the right week, you're down. So Lurch mentioned that he thinks I have an easier matchup next week. I haven't looked ahead, so I don't know. But whoever that person is could have a great week. I could have a bad week. They could beat me. It can happen. So I'd like to avoid all of that nonsense by not even playing. So I want that bye badly. I hope I win this pillow fight tonight, and then I'll put me in a better position to be able to sort of win and you're in next week, which would be great. And, I want options. So 100% fantasy's weird. And, yes, please, to the love of God, I want to win tonight.
Yeah, you have Russ next week, who is in dead last.
Ooh, nice. And he's got nothing to play for, so he can tank for the number 1 pick. So
not
nice.
For tanking, Russ. You play till the end, even though you've been relegated.
He's trying to get in a better draft position, Lurch. Come on.
No. You play till the end, but no, he had a rough week this week too. So boy, if he has another one of those weeks, even with your pillow fight, you beat him. My goodness.
Yeah, that'd be terrific.
Hey, this was a good one. Al put this video out to us privately, so people haven't gotten to see it publicly. But Big Al, again, in the comments here again, he got the chance. You know how you go to football games sometimes and you get picked for a contest, do a promotion. So he got picked for a promotion to try to kick an actual extra point at an SU game at halftime. And so I wasn't at the game, but he sent me the video, and he did not make the extra point, but he did get the ball clearly off the ground, and it just kind of scooted left of the upright. It wasn't that bad a kick, tiny bit short, a tiny bit left, but he got it airborne. And he says, all I got to say is I got the ball in the air, and they didn't have to scrape me off the turf, which is correct, Al. I think you did a pretty good job, even though you didn't make the kick.
Okay, let me bring this up. I won't be able to bring this in the way that I normally do with the video. Okay. We'll just work with what we have here. You'll see it.
You've got the video.
Yeah, unconventional. Okay. So here it is. We have the video, so we're going to go full screen here. Yeah, we'll be able to expand it here. So here we go.
A little bigger.
Yeah, we'll see if this loads up here.
Okay, here it comes. Oh, don't freeze on us. Come on.
It's freezing on us. So let me see if I can get it.
He looks good in his orange 44 jersey. This was at the JMA Wireless.
Let's see if we can get it. Try this again.
Try to replay here. Okay. Got movement. Oh boy, this video just wants to freeze
it's,
right before a kick.
yeah.
It's like it wants to get him in a perfect pose.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
sorry,
we couldn't play it, but
Facebook, and not giving it to us, but yeah. So I did
low
see
and
that.
left,
I came
but it did
across
get off
it.
the ground. It did get off the
Yeah.
ground well. It was not even 2 feet off the ground. It got a good 7-8 feet off the ground. So, yeah, good effort there, Al. Good effort. I wouldn't want to put that on anyone. That is very tough in front of an entire, college football crowd, and you got to go down there. You get, it's not like you're practicing all week either. I mean, I guess you could do something at home, but my goodness, it's a foreign environment. Everything's just up in the air. Ooh. I'd say
Yeah,
that's
100%.
like a 10% chance that you're gonna, nail one in that situation. So I thought you did.
And the Jets have been doing this all season long, Lurch. I don't know if you're a kicker, but they're doing this weird. They have some sponsorship deal with a mayo company for mayonnaise, and before every Jets home game, they're letting random people kick it's like a 30 or 35-yard field goal in the middle of the elements. If it's raining, then it's raining. If it's not, it's not. And if you make it, you enter this grand prize challenge in the final Jets home game of the season, which I believe is Jets Patriots right around Christmas. And you're at that point, you're competing for $100,000 and like a lifetime supply of mayo, which, by the way, I don't even know what that looks like. What are you going to do with all that mayo? That I have no idea. But they've been doing that. Lurch, could you, do you have any kicking in your background? Could you, didn't you have like a soccer thing or something back there somewhere? Could you hit a 40-yard or 30-yard field goal?
30-yarder, I don't know. Extra point, I would have a chance.
Okay.
I have no kicking background other than when I was a kid. I loved kickers. One of my first true fandoms for a player. Okay,
Mhm.
it was really two guys that I gravitated to. Maybe three. No, three's popping into my head now. But the
Okay.
first true kind of fandom, like this guy, I want to get this guy's jersey, and I'm a little kid, was the kicker for the Giants. Pete Gogolak was his name.
Okay.
Great name for a kicker, Gogolak.
Yeah.
What a great name.
Yeah.
He was the Giants kicker, and I got one of those little mini footballs, the little mini plastic footballs that kids play with, like this big. All right. And it had Pete Gogolak's autograph on it. I don't know if my dad got it autographed or if it was just a knockoff, but it was a Pete Gogolak autographed little plastic football, and I would throw it around the house with my dad. Then I got into the kicker. I think at the time he was with the Kansas City Chiefs, Jan Stenerud. You might remember Jan Stenerud,
Yeah,
another
sure.
great
Yeah.
kicker. And during that unbelievable Miami Dolphin undefeated season, I was a massive fan of Garo Upremian,
Yes.
who had that famous
1972, by the way.
crazy
1972.
terrible
Yeah.
pass video. It was a broken play, and he's known for that. But he was also a great kicker. So is that Gogolak right there?
That is Gogolak, yes.
That's Gogolak. Yep. Okay. So there's Pete Gogolak, the legendary Giants kicker. So
Okay.
he was kind of my first, kind of like love of an actual player in the world of football. Pete Gogolak back in the day.
Nice.
Black and
Look
white
at that.
photo. Oh,
Yeah,
did.
black and white. There
That's
you go.
awful.
Yeah.
All right, get that off the screen, man. What the heck? Oh my God.
Wow.
Jeez, I'm probably wearing Chuck Taylors in that or something.
Yeah,
All right. Anyway, so I used to, because I was kind of a fan of some kickers early on in my life. I liked. We just played street football. I mean, I grew up in Queens. I mean, we were playing on pavement. But we used to, we got one of those plastic tees, and we just like kick fake extra points essentially after touchdowns. And we had if you get it between this car and this tree, you find a tree that has like a big wishbone. Like, all right, if you get it between the wishbone, you get the extra point. So we used to knock the ball, between things, in a simulated extra point to get an extra point in our street football games. And I was definitely, of the guys in our group, the best guy at it, so I learned how to get my foot square and how to get, make good contact with the ball and get it up in the air. So I don't know, though. I mean, this is a lot of years later, Boy Green. Those hamstrings are pretty tight these days. I don't know if I'd get it off the ground all that much more than Al would, but I definitely have a love for kicking. And I think if I found out I was going to do something like that, and I don't know if Al had any advance notice, I would probably spend several weeks, if I had it, just practicing and trying to, figure out where on my foot do I got to hit it? What's the best way to get this ball up in the air? I think I would practice it and try to at least make a run at it. But one kick, you never know what's going to happen. You can just hit it off the side of your foot. Ooh, doinker.
That's true. And that would be incredibly embarrassing too, which
Very,
is
very. In front of all those people. Oh, brutally embarrassing. Brutally embarrassing.
Hey,
All
by
right,
the way,
yep.
Random thing here. I just saw this on social media, so I wanted to highlight it. We talked about earlier that, the Cowboys, right? One of their big trades, we talk about Micah Parsons, but the trade that should be getting more love is that they gave a 3rd-round pick for George Pickens, the wide receiver. Lurch, George Pickens this season has more yards than every wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers combined on their roster. Think about that. Receiving yards this season, shout out to Underdog NFL. George Pickens has 1,142 receiving yards. Every Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver on the entire roster, if you combine all of their yardage, it's 1,114 less than George Pickens. That's insane.
You know what's amazing too, is that Tomlin has over the years, and they have been a factory for good receivers, and they've been a factory for drafting them like in the 3rd round and later and turning them into superstars. All right. So Tomlin, who has handled a lot of diva receivers and has
Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant
receivers, right?
Yeah.
It was very clear that him and Pickens just weren't getting along. You know, that
clearly
he's out there. I mean, he's a diva guy. He's a kook. I mean, he's got to be a kook off the field.
He's got a lot going on. Right.
He's different. All right, he's different. He's a handful. And Tomlin, though, has always been able to handle those guys who are a handful. And yet, for some reason, this guy, at his young age, because he's in his prime right now, okay, they decided to jettison him off. When they finally let Brown go, I mean, he was done. I mean, he was at the very end. I mean, they got everything could get at him, you know, and they
traded him
at the perfect time. That was like the perfect get rid of this guy at the right time thing that made the Steelers look very good. Didn't have to deal with all that nonsense that has since happened to Antonio Brown. He was in trouble just a couple of weeks ago. I saw again in trouble off the field. He's returned into an absolute nightmare, but he is a diva and he's a bit of a kooky guy. He's a little bit quirky, to say the least. All right. Pickens,
that's for sure.
But Pickens is younger, and Pickens had some, I'm sure, the same quirks that Brown has had, and yet they couldn't deal with him, and now they've let him go. And this is going to be a tragic mistake for them because already it is, but it could turn into a big mistake because this guy could be among the best receivers for the next 5 years in the NFL if he has good health.
Yeah.
And he's got a quarterback that's going to be there, that's locked in, that gets him the ball, and he's got a good complementary receiver. He's really supposed to be the complement to the other guy, CD Lamb, who's fantastic. But they have a great 1 and 1A, however you want to put those two guys. And so the table is set for him to have great success. And the Steelers are actually, in a rare instance, going to look like idiots on this one. And that's just the way it goes. And Boy Green's looking like a genius too because he's got him on his fantasy team.
I wanted him so bad I just had a feeling. I'm like, man, he's so talented with a stable quarterback in Dak. CD Lamb on the opposite side. Boy, I love it for George. And again, I wanted him in every fantasy league I'm in. I only got him in one, and it's a champs league. And that was our last league. And I'm like, you know what? I don't give a crap. I am going to overdraft this guy. I'm going to take him because I feel so good about him. And I don't care what anyone else says. Everyone's going to give me eye rolls in the draft room. You just want to get guys that you believe in, and he was definitely someone I believed in.
Okay, that's fair enough, and it's worked out. That's been really, really good. I've not had some of the same luck, and although I was happy, BG, that Michael Wilson came back down to earth this week.
That's too bad.
For returning to the lineup. But you want a little plus on the end of this.
Sure.
BG.
Yeah. Okay.
Harrison injured his heel late in that game.
Oh, I missed that.
Came out of the game, and if he's out for another
Michael Wilson's back, baby.
Right back to the top. I mean, you got a star receiver. I mean, they were making all these claims. Wilson's still going to get plenty of action. He didn't. He calmed way the heck down, and they delivered the ball to their top guy, which is what they should do, coming off the appendectomy. But now he injured his heel, and he is already questionable for next week. So if you get another couple of weeks of Michael Wilson,
phenomenal.
It'd be what a bonus, players like that. That's why I say the karma just seems to be playing to you this year. I am not getting good karma. I mean, for JSN to go out and lay an egg like that on a week where I could have taken down Bartle and probably knocked him out of the playoffs. Oh, just brutal,
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm at a luxury where I can afford to lose, and it's not going to kill me no matter what. But still, I don't like to lose, and it was tough. That was a tough pill to swallow. I thought going into those 4 o'clock games, all right, baby, here comes my main man. I'm ready on stage, and then I watched that game. I was like, are they going to throw it to him or what? What's happening here? I'm just screaming.
That's what I had with Justin Jefferson.
What are you doing? Jefferson, same thing. But that situation is different because they're just in quarterback hell.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Since they've lost their starter and then their backup Carson Wentz, because Wentz was able to still get him the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Since that's happened, and now it's J.J. McCarthy, and It's a disaster. And now what was the kid that yesterday? I never
Max
heard of him.
Brosmer.
Brosmer. I was like, what? This is their starter today?
And he was terrible. Couldn't even get him the ball.
Yeah. So poor Justin Jefferson.
Thanks, Max.
Oh my goodness. Is he regretting signing that contract extension?
That's probably
he's
true.
going to be, they don't get their QB situation together soon, man. He's going to be asking out of there. I mean, he's going to be divaing up.
Maybe
man.
to your Giants. Huh?
Yeah,
next,
I'd take that guy in a heartbeat. I going into the season, I know there are a lot of great receivers. Jamar Chase probably was at the top of everybody's list this year in terms of maybe the best receiver in football. I think it's proven at this point. We'll see how the season ends. Still more games to go. That JSN might be that guy, and some other guys like Pickens and have closed in. But the fact of the matter is that it's just crazy how the ebb and flow changes things, and how guys are great for one moment and then they kind of fade a little bit the next. So all right, anyway, some other games I want to get to, BG, before we get out of here. All right, so we took care of the Thanksgiving games. Unbelievable. The Bears taking down Philadelphia in Philly. That's the even more challenging thing, that game happened in Philadelphia. So kudos to Ben Johnson. Kudos to the Bears. I'm still a little, I know the Bears record is good. I know they're the number one seed overall, but I still watch them, and I've watched a good number of their games, pillar to post this year. Mm-hmm. And this was one of the ones that I did because it was all by itself on a Friday. Caleb Williams does great things, and then he just does awful things. His decision-making in critical moments is beyond questionable. Sometimes he just is a wide open guy and he just sails it over the guy's head. You're just like, what was that? The guy had no one within 5 yards of him. Just put it somewhere on him. Put in his catch radius. The guy will catch it. There's no one bearing down on him. He's not going to have to worry about getting clocked. And yet Caleb just tosses it over his head and out of play. You're just like, what just happened? So I really like a lot about the Bears, but until Caleb really rounds into form, I don't think that they can go the distance. I mean, it's just too scary. He's just going to make mistakes. He's going to do the wrong thing. They're not ready yet. But that was a very good showing against a team that obviously has some fleas. We've been talking about it for weeks, and now those fleas are starting to surface a little bit more. That Philadelphia offense is putrid. I mean, I don't know. That is, other than A.J. Brown, do they have anything? What is going on? Barkley, they've completely forgotten how to use him. Hurts seems to be scared to throw the ball half the time. They're not using him much as a runner. Everything's upside down and backwards in Philly. I have no idea what is going on there, but they are.
And Eagles collapse again? We saw it a few years ago. Yeah.
Weirdly in trouble again. Houston, Indianapolis. Come on, we got to talk about that game.
Yeah, baby.
Goodness, Indiana Jones indeed now is just Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
It has all come full circle. Now, kudos to the guys out there playing with a broken fibula. What the heck?
I've never heard of that before.
When I heard of that, the guy's out there playing with a broken leg. It is a bone in your leg that connects your knee basically to your ankle. It's on the outside part of your leg. I looked all this up. I was like, what the heck is this? And why would you risk that? And that seems crazy. But there he was. But it didn't make a difference. That Houston defense is tough. CJ Stroud returned. He don't look that great in all honesty, but they did enough to get the win 20-16. And again, that game on the road in Indianapolis. So those were two big ones in the NFC.
100%.
One in the NFC, one in the AFC.
Yeah, I would just say this again. Thank goodness the Colts got good news on, and I know Jet fans will know this name, Sauce Gardner, who got traded over there. He appeared to have a non-contact injury. There's a lot of fear of an Achilles. Apparently, it's being reported this morning a calf strain. He could miss a few weeks. He could be back in a short amount of time. You want to be careful with that because calf strains can often lead to Achilles injuries. So it looks like they avoided disaster. They gave up 2 first-round picks and Adonai Mitchell, who I see Old Yank. Shout out to you, Old Yank, having an AD Mitchell shout out in here.
Yeah,
we had he had the first 100-yard receiving game of his career and the first touchdown of his career with a 52-yard touchdown bomb from Tyrod Taylor, which was a lot of fun. So again, salute to Adonai Mitchell. And but no, for the Colts, Sauce Gardner you want for the playoffs if you are lucky enough to get there, although they're collapsing recently. So it sounds like they avoided serious injury. Thank goodness for them. Daniel Jones, that one, I don't know, with a broken fibula, which again, I heard the story. I'm like, what?
Are they going to keep rolling him out? I mean,
I heard broken fibula. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to announce he's out for the season? They're rolling off to whoever the backup is, because I don't know if Anthony Richardson is healthy yet. And you're just like, oh my goodness. And then no, he's playing with it. So bizarre. But the Colts are totally losing their moxie. The Cowboys acquired Quentin Williams from the Jets, and it's been rocket fuel. They've blasted it off.
Yes.
The Colts have got Sauce Gardner. They completely collapsed. They're losing games left and right. So boy, Indy's better take the wheel back from Jesus here and see if they could get it back on course, because this car could spin out of control.
Yeah, that was, I think, I know they've, it's the games leading up to this one. This one, I knew was going to be a tough one for them, because that Houston defense is arguably right now playing the best football of any defense in the league.
Of course. Yep.
And defense is often impermeable to road. Road sometimes even inspires a defense a lot of times more than it hurts them. I just think like the stars were aligning here a little bit for Houston. They're in desperate times. They had that terrible start and they're trying to get back into mix, and they kind of are. But Indy, that was just bad timing. I think if they could have got a little easier opponent, maybe they could have skated by this one and then got themselves kind of back on track. But now they got another loss to deal with, and it's getting a little dicey. So I think that was really good timing for Houston to hit Indy at this moment, and they did. And then the fear of Jones out there with a broken leg playing against that defense, which is the biggest thing about them, is their pass rush. They just have tremendous pass rush. That was just scary. The thought of that was just scary. Tampa Bay found a way. I mean, it wasn't impressive, but 20-17, they beat Arizona. Baker out there playing with a bum shoulder on his left shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder, but still out there and toughing it out. But they did beat Arizona 20-17. Brissett again, just chucking the ball all over the yard. He's throwing it everywhere. Marvin got back, as we mentioned, back in the lineup off the appendicitis and had a bunch of catches, looked pretty good. But Arizona, again, they're like almost good enough every week. They've had some good performances, but they just aren't equating to wins, unfortunately. So they go down to Tampa Bay. Any surprise there for you?
Yeah, not enough Michael Wilson. There's that Saturday Night Live skit, Christopher Walken, and there's like, I need more cowbell, more Michael Wilson. That's what I need, both for my fantasy team and for the success of the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr. Unfortunately, I wish I could say this in positive light, right? He's got roots around here, of course, with his father playing at Syracuse, being a Pro Football Hall of Famer. But he's been a disappointment so far in his NFL career to date. Michael Wilson, let's get this guy the rock, for God's sake. So disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing to say the least. I get you. But wasn't disappointing, although Tennessee seems to be the elixir for anybody. But Jacksonville, very impressive against Tennessee, 25-3. Matt Lombardo had that on a lone wolf. Poor Matt. That was not even a close game. Jacksonville, again, moving up in the standings. They were a team that I picked early, Boy Green. I thought this could be a good season for them, that they'd be a playoff team. Looks like so far I'm a soothsayer with both the Bears and now with Jacksonville. Were you impressed at all? I know it's the Tennessee Titans, so, how impressed can you be?
Hey, quick nugget on the Titans side. They are on a crash course for the number one overall pick in back-to-back years, potentially. Could be that for Tennessee. They don't need a quarterback, so maybe they can parlay that pick into a massive haul to accelerate their rebuild. They're going to have a new head coach, obviously, with Brian Callahan being fired halfway through the season. So Tennessee going in the wrong direction. I feel bad for Cam Ward. He doesn't have a lot to work with there offensively, and he's sort of spiraling. So hopefully he can sort of manage to get something out of this rookie season of note that he can build upon moving forward, because I imagine Tennessee is not going to go one and done with Cam Ward. But no, Jacksonville has been interesting. I don't know what has happened to Brian Thomas Jr. Again, non-existent in this game. It makes no sense because Travis Hunter's out for the year. So that means the reps are back available, and yet they're not going to Brian Thomas Jr., BTJ. So he was a Pro Bowl player last year. This year, he can't even get involved. I don't know what's going on there. Some weird drama happening there in Jacksonville for sure. But this is a super talented team that, Indy, look over your shoulder. You're looking at Houston. Look at Jacksonville, who's breathing down your neck too. Trevor Lawrence, to me, has not been wildly impressive, but they have impressive guys. Travis Etienne is a very, very talented guy. So they have a lot of talented guys on offense and defense. I just want to see if they could sort of I just need to see a little bit more to fully buy in again, because I was bought in early, less bought in more recently.
Well, have you bought into the Carolina Panthers? BG, man. Holy crow. You got a lone wolf on Carolina. That was a 10.5-point spread on our sheet on Friday. Nobody but you dared to go over there. I was waffling a little bit, but I just believed. I was worried about the 10.5, but I didn't think Carolina could win, for crying out loud. They get back home and get right. That thing went right down to the wire. 31-28. Carolina upends the Rams. And now we went from last week, the Rams right now. I said it, though. I go, right now. Give it a week or two, and this whole thing changes. It didn't even take a week. Okay, a week later, the Rams go down to Carolina, and now the Rams are human, and it's up for grabs, and everyone's in it again, and the Bears are now the number 1 seed, and yada, yada, yada. So how disappointed are you in the Rams, and what do you make of Carolina? Are they for real? And are the Rams, is this just a hiccup? And the Rams okay or not okay?
Yeah, a couple of things here. First off, I quoted your father to you. The home underdog was super tasty there.
I know.
Panthers. I said I have no choice.
Damn.
I gotta go to your father's tried and true saying there. So Carolina,
Spirit of Dad should have driven me on that one, because I did have a good weekend picks, but I could have used that one on top of it. That would have been icing.
For sure. So, and what a fun game. I mean, they were just it was a heavyweight boxing bout where they were dropping blows back and forth. Rams take the lead. The Panthers take the lead. Back to the Rams. Back to the Panthers. So that was super fun game, and big sexy players all over the place.
And just to jump in for a second on the home underdog front, so just hold your thought there for a minute, BG. Home underdogs win or lose. Dallas home underdog win outright. Okay. Carolina home underdog win outright. Jets home underdog win outright. Tennessee did not. Okay, they were home and lost badly. Okay, so that's a loss there. All right. Cleveland did not win as well. All right, so that makes the record 3-2, and then Pittsburgh lost, so that now ties it up at 3-3 for home underdogs. Washington didn't win, but they did cover as the home underdog.
Did.
All right, so that's 4-3 on the side of home underdogs. And tonight the Giants are the underdog, and they're on the road, so no worries there. So the dogs will have won 4-3. So if you just based on nothing other than I'm taking home underdogs, you would have gone 4-3 in those games, had an over 500 record.
Yeah, right. Not bad at all. And I'll just go back to the Rams point to say, no, I'm not. I'm happy for the Panthers. That's great. And you're a guy. I love hearing Anish Shroff's voice on Sunday Night Football as they're referencing his calls from the game, which is good. So salute to Anish. Hopefully someone sent that back his way, that he was all over the place on Sunday Night Football, which was a lot of fun. And great coup for the Panthers. Again, they're very much in the thick of it against Tampa Bay for that NFC South divisional title. So that'll be fascinating to watch. And now for the Rams, it's a blip on the radar. Like, they didn't get blown out. There were questions of, and Sean McVay denied this, did you overlook this Panthers team? You're the Rams, this big, sexy team. Did you overlook Carolina? He said, absolutely not. We gave them full respect and things of that nature. Now, the Rams are still awesome. They barely lost in a shootout. The Rams had a lot of impressive feats themselves with Devontae Adams catching touchdowns, and Matthew Stafford doesn't throw a lot of picks. He had a bad pick six down the left hash too. So no, I'm not concerned about the Rams. I think it's just tip of the cap to the Panthers, tip of the cap to the Rams. You got beat by the better team that day, and you keep moving forward.
Hep is in the comments today. Welcome aboard, Hep. He's got a Jack Youngblood played with the broken
leg. Oh, wow,
there
you go.
That nice is reference. True. I do remember that back in the day. There were some bloody players, and then he offers this thought up as well. Keeping a team focused while you're successful is a difficult proposition. I love how he does the caps on that.
That's very nice.
I assume he's talking about your Jets there, correct?
Yes, right, because it is difficult to balance both of those things. It's keeping the team together, preaching patience no one wants. Again, Bud says the line all the time, instant coffee in the microwave isn't fast enough for people nowadays. It's just a now league. Now. And it's a difficult line to draw there. But hey, you know what? It seems like the Jets are figuring it out. Not a lot of wins this season, but hopefully more in the future.
Boy, as Mike McDaniel turned it down and turned it around in Miami. I know it was just, New Orleans, but another win for Miami. They're doing it ugly, 21-17. Not that impressive. They were home against New Orleans, against the downtrodden New Orleans team. But Miami is starting to get a few wins. Dare I say, they're dropping in the draft order. And I mean dropping, meaning going down from number one towards the middle of the pack.
Yeah. But they're screwed. They play the Jets this week, so they're going to come back down to earth, obviously, as the Jets get another upset win against the Fish. But no, I think Mike McDaniel is doing a number to potentially save his job. Chris Greer, their longtime general manager, he had been with the organization for 25 years in a variety of roles. He gets fired in the middle of the year. And so Mike McDaniel and apparently ownership group, Stephen Ross, really likes Mike McDaniel, so he doesn't want to fire him. And Mike McDaniel is giving him plenty of reasons not to fire him with how this team is playing and fighting. Now, I think the playoffs, even though I see they're on the in the hunt graphic, I think with all due respect, I don't see that sort of magic happening. Right. but it's nice to be in the Hunt graphic. The Jets haven't been there in quite some time. But no, Mike McDaniel, I think the thing that is being fought for is less about playoffs. It's more about Mike McDaniel's job security and seeing if he can be a part of this group and the next chapter of this group, whether that includes Tua or not. So, no, it's been very impressive for Miami. They've won. It's been something like, I don't have their schedule in front of me and have to pull it up. Let me not talk out of my keister here. Miami is, let's see, for the old fish, they're 5-7 on the season, and they've won, let's see, 3 in a row and 4 or 5. So they've done a marvelous job.
5 wins.
Yeah, that's very good. And you look at the rest of their schedule. So they have the Jets. Think of what you want of that. They play Pittsburgh. They play Cincinnati with Joe Burrow back, Bucks, Patriots. Okay, it gets a lot more difficult for Miami as I'm now taking a gander ahead of the schedule.
Back end definitely a little tough.
Yeah, we'll see if they are able to compete and make it happen. But no, absolutely not. The Dolphins are going to collapse.
Interesting. Jets, as we mentioned earlier, get the win over Atlanta, 27-24. How you liking Tyrod Taylor as your starting quarterback? At least the team can get the ball down the field a little bit. I mean, again, it's not what you want, but it's better than what's been offered and certainly better than what Justin Fields was delivering. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think there are two statements that can be true. That Tyrod Taylor is a clear and obvious upgrade over Justin Fields, but also that's not saying much because Justin Fields is terrible. So, Tyrod Taylor is moving the ball a little bit, giving his kids shots. A.D. Mitchell, again, 52-yard touchdown, which, by the way, Tyrod missed through, but thankfully the defender falls down and A.D. Mitchell makes a play and is able to catch it, secure it, and finish it and go over the goal line. The Jets defense, for the love of everything that is holy, could not stop anything with Bijan Robinson. He ran the football. He caught the football in the backfield. On the Falcons, I don't know why I didn't call any other play not named Bijan Robinson because those plays always worked. But thank you, Falcons, for not calling those for whatever reason.
That's what I don't understand about that team. That's another mystery about that team is they get that guy rolling and then they run in Algier. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. Or anything. Or all of a sudden, like throwing it to David Sills the fifth. Does anyone know who David Sills the fifth is? Probably not. Yet he's getting 4, 5, 6, 7 targets in this game. If it ain't
three of those, give 3 of those to Bijan.
100%.
I totally agree.
It's bizarre. I don't
Atlanta's
understand
a conundrum. They are an absolute conundrum. They were a conundrum under Smith, under Arthur Smith as their head coach, and they continue to be a conundrum. I just don't understand the decision making around their star players. I mean, with Drake London out, Bijan Robinson is the guy. You just give it to him, and he's having a day. Keep giving it. Feed the beast.
I know he's putting up crazy numbers and good for Lurch's fantasy team and good for Bijan Robinson, but that shouldn't be enough. You should just be complacent with, all right, he's putting some nice numbers here. You're trying to win a game and feed him numbers. So keep feeding the beast until he tells you on the sideline, oh, man, I am tired. I need a breather. Until that happens, which I did not see during the game, I don't know. I just would have kept feeding him, so that seemed bizarre. But no, Tyrod has been a nice little upgrade for the Jets. He's brought some stability to the Jets offense. They've got a long way to go, but that's been refreshing.
Yep, I would agree. The 49ers, I didn't want to get on board with them on the road, and I should have. Darn it, man. Christian McCaffrey is incredible. He certainly has to be considered for MVP again this year. I know Jonathan Taylor was getting a lot of attention. He's cooled a bit, a little bit of a comeback game yesterday, but again, they lost. I don't, again, also understand why Indianapolis gets away from that guy sometimes when they shouldn't. But, man, it's been another great season for CMC. Anybody that questioned his durability, well, that's pretty much a moot point at this point. He's made it through 13 weeks. 26-8 over a very tough Cleveland Browns defense. So San Francisco did it convincingly. Purdy obviously back in that lineup. Talk to me about San Francisco. Are they for real or not?
A quick trivia question, by the way. Do you know the last time before what happened this weekend that the 49ers traveled to Cleveland and beat the Browns on the road?
I bet you it's ages. I bet you it's a long time. Yeah, I'm going to – all right. You want to take a guess at it?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I'm the worst date guy. I'll give you a year. All right.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm looking for.
25. I'll say 2005.
1984 was the last time that the 49ers went into – it's just a weird scheduling quirk. So this week when I'm picking the games, I'm like, man, that is so bizarre. I mean, eventually all records and things are meant to be broken, but man, and Cleveland's defense have been playing so well, so I picked Cleveland this weekend. Obviously, that was a failure. But no, to your point, Christian McCaffrey being healthy for the people in fantasy, you took him somewhere between the 6th overall pick and the 12th overall pick. If that hit – you got the number 1 overall player in fantasy, and that's what a lot of people got. So he's spectacular. The fact that they're doing this despite not having Nick Bosa, one of the best pass rushers in the league, not having Fred Warner, one of the best inside linebackers in the league, and they have just made chicken salad out of chicken. You know what? Kyle Shanahan should be fully in the conversation for Coach of the Year for what he's been able to do with this group. It's been magnificent. Quarterback injuries. Brock Purdy's been out for most of the year. You go to some guy, Mac Jones, a rejected first-round pick from New England who bounced to Jacksonville, then bounced over to you, and he looked spectacular, looked like a well-oiled machine. Nothing changed when Mac Jones went in there in a negative way. So they just keep finding new ways to do it. So, yeah, San Francisco is fully in the picture. 49ers fans I saw chirping saying, wait just a second, we're not out of the NFC West race. Rams losing. Maybe there's a path with their strength of schedule versus our strength of schedule. Is there a way to get back into this thing? So maybe that there's more chapters to be written in this Kyle Shanahan Coach of the Year book. Yeah, the 49ers are for real.
Here's something that is freakish. I think going into this week, I had heard that he was number 1. I'm looking at the current stats right now. He's number 4 in the NFL. All right. Christian McCaffrey, okay,
Yeah.
the running back.
Yeah,
okay?
I know where you're going.
We know catches balls out of the backfield as well. Going into this week was had the most receptions of anyone in football. After this week, he's got 85. The leader right now is Trey McBride, who's racking him up as a tight end, who has 88. And then right behind him, Jamar Chase, then Puka Nacua, and Christian McCaffrey, and JSN is in 5th with 82. So, I mean, think about that for a minute. This guy is a running back, and he was leading the league in receptions. And he also does stuff running the ball, too. It's not like you only throw to him. He does well. He is as versatile as they come. He is an incredible receiver. He has tremendous hands, great elusive ability. You think running backs would be easier to cover out there. This guy is impossible to cover. 85 reception. That is crazy. Crazy tough. He's going to top 100 receptions this year in the NFL. Easy.
Well, so if you look it up in the NFL history books, wow, a running back doing this is crazy. What running back has the most receptions in a single season in NFL history?
What's the number?
The number is 116, held by Christian McCaffrey, who did it in 2019. So he has a path. Again, he would have to continue to rack it up. He's got 85 catches right now, so we'll see if with 4 games remaining, is there enough to do it here. But you start doing the math and getting those numbers together. He's got 4, 5, 6, 7 catches a game. We'll see what he can do. He's going to have an opportunity to break his own record. It's been magnificent for Christian.
Unbelievable. Guy's a freak. So good win for the 49ers. You believe in the 49ers or not?
I do. I think they're legit. I think they're for real. Now, there's a lot of really good. The NFC is freaking loaded. AFC, you're like, man, who the hell is coming out of this thing?
Yeah.
Somebody has to. And the NFC, you're like, damn, like, man, who is going to battle beaten and like, I think the NFC playoff picture, whoever comes out of the champion of the NFC to be that representative, like they're going to have earned it with the teams that are in the NFC that are stacked. AFC may have a lighter path, which may benefit them in the Super Bowl, that they didn't get beat up throughout the entire thing. Maybe they play a slew of easier opponents. Again, we'll always see football's an interesting sport, but the NFC is freaking loaded. But yes, I do believe in them.
Then Seattle manhandled Minnesota. We don't spend a lot of time on that. Again, they just ground and pounded it, and Minnesota just.
It's a cruise control victory. I mean, absolutely.
Kind of
Max Brosmer was terrible. I mean,
I want to look this stat up really quick.
Sure, yeah.
I want to make sure I get it right.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yep, sure.
Okay.
I like stats.
Getting us to the next game here. A little lead up to it.
As you're getting into it, I just want to give a shout out to our 200 people that are watching our show right now. Make sure you guys like the video. That is the free way to contribute here on the MC Show digital content channels. Wherever you're watching, make sure you guys like the video. And again, hey, let me see. What's our let me look at our current numbers here, alerts, see how close we are to speaking of breaking records here. We'll see for the Manchild Show with Boy Green digital channels. Let me see. We're at 378 subscribers. Folks, we're 22 away. Subscribe right now to the channel. I'd love for it to happen while we're live.
Bobby Mercer Baseball.
There you go, baby. There you go. Full screen.
Get to 400. Love it. Love it.
We're 22 away, folks. That's where we're at right now. 22 away. All you have to do is subscribe to that YouTube channel on your screen. YouTube.com/MC Show Digital. Free Free. If you're local, we'll hand it to you in person. If you live far away, we'll ship it to you. Just subscribe to the channel. Free to do. And if you subscribe for this, if you're one of our next 22 subscribers, you have a chance of that baseball. But if, quite frankly, if you're one of our subscribers there and you remain a subscriber, you'll be there for every free giveaway we continue to do here on the channel. So you don't have to pay a penny. Just go over right now. If you're on your phone, just jump over to the YouTube tab, subscribe to that channel, do it on your computer, open up a new tab. It's super simple. So I'd love to get it in the middle of the show. We're 22 subscribers away. We're getting closer and closer. That's Lurch's magic number.
Yep, magic number 22, baby. That's my number. Yeah. So next game up on the slate is the Bills and Pittsburgh. 26-7. Bills dominated mostly on the ground. This was a ground game for them. Again, getting James Cook cooking. Khalil Shakir had another horrendous game for anybody that has him in fantasy. Oh my God, that was the guy that was supposed to have the nice solid
floor. No, we're not sure of the stealing.
A complete disaster. Oh my God, epic
surprises me.
He had one catch in that game, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my goodness, what a terrible way to go down in fantasy if you had Khalil Shakir on your roster.
Which I have him in a few leagues, unfortunately.
But most importantly in this game, Josh Allen, young Josh Allen, also call him young Josh Allen. I mean, I know he's considered a KG vet, but he's still got plenty more years left in this league. He has become, in that game, the all-time leading rusher for a quarterback. So he has the most rushing touchdowns career for a quarterback at his young age with 76.
He's 29.
He passed Cam Newton. Now, Jalen Hurts, who's still playing, is on his tail with 63. And, Hurts does run the ball a lot at the goal line as well. So I guess it's still potentially out there for Hurts to close that gap and maybe even close in on him and pass him. But, I mean, Josh Allen just keeps doing it time and time again. He's at 76 and counting. I mean, listen to other top guys in the history of, we get beyond Newton, who we know was a physical monster, and Hurts, who's a guy in the game right now that is really reliant on his legs. Before that, in fourth place on this list is Steve Young, a very mobile quarterback in the NFL, who had 43 total in his career, in a long career. Josh Allen's career is not even over, not even close to being over, and he already has 76. So that kind of puts it in perspective. The great Michael Vick only had 36 rushing touchdowns. He's 8th all-time on the list. So, man, you just look at that. Lamar, who is a runner, but a lot of times doesn't take it at the goal line to take that pounding because of his slight build, has 34 as well. There's another active quarterback. But, man, holy crow, Josh Allen running away with this. He's going to be the career leader in rushing touchdowns for a quarterback, I think, for many years to come after he finally does hang him up.
Yeah, he just surpassed Cam Newton for you young kids out there in the audience. Old Superman, who was the league MVP back in 2015, a decade ago. So, yeah, Cam Newton held that for a while as the leader of that clubhouse. But, yeah, Josh Allen is going to have a chance to obviously holds the crown right now, but to make up ground. And then by the time he finishes and draws the line in the dirt saying, hey, folks, this is the new standard you got to beat, I imagine that line is going to be so far out, he may hold that for a very long time, despite the fact that we're in a rushing quarterback kind of league right now.
Gotcha.
That's a kind of destination. But, man, salute to Josh Allen. Incredible.
Then continuing down the list here, Boy Green, just get to the last couple of games. Chargers outduel Las Vegas. Boy, Vegas is really hurting. The Chargers needed a turnaround game like that. They did not get Omari and Hampton back into the lineup. There were a lot of rumors that he might get back. Looks like it's going to be at least one more week. But the Chargers still look solid. They did have a little scare. Justin Herbert got hurt in that game, but then was able to return to the game and was able to finish it out. So I think, at least for the moment, they're okay. 31-14 over Vegas. That was a dominating performance. And then what turned out to be a very exciting Sunday night football game, Denver and Washington. Boy, it looked like it was kind of going to be lopsided at one point. Denver was kind of dominating, not really completely on the scoreboard, but was just looking like a team that looked a lot better. And, man, the Commanders came all the way back, and then on a 2-point conversion in overtime, had a chance to win it. That ball gets batted down, and Denver hangs on by the skin of their teeth in Washington. But again, home team dog getting it done, 6.5 points on the favor of the Washington Commanders, and they get it done handily. They lose the game 27-26, but cover on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, just unbelievable. And I was trying to see, a lot of drama. It was like I said, it was a very fun game there as well. I was trying to see the latest Justin Herbert update. He has a metacarpal fracture on his left hand. He does plan to play on Monday Night Football a week from today. So he's going to attempt
to play. Aaron Rodgers, one of those left hand issues. I guess Rodgers is a wrist. This is a hand. I mean, You can play with that as long as you can handle the snap. Or Rodgers was operating completely out of the shotgun. All right. He didn't take anything under center because he couldn't really grab those snaps securely without the potential for fumbling it. So they just moved him into shotgun the whole game. So maybe we'll see a similar fate for Justin Herbert here.
Also, this was breaking news from earlier today, but it happened in the middle of our show. Before the season, there was a trade between the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings, returning Adam Thielen home back to the Vikings where he started his career. Well, he approached management about being released, seeking his release because he was a healthy scratch on Sunday. He is not getting on the field. So Adam Thielen was granted that release. He wants more playing time, so he's going to join a contender as a wide receiver. So we'll see if he has anything left in the tank. And they are allowing him out of that deal. And so there you go. We'll see if Adam Thielen lands with a contender that needs some wide receiver help. We'll see.
Guy's got good hands. I'll say that. I don't know what's left below the waist, but man, in terms of his hands, the guy can still catch that ball. So maybe he can help somebody that's in a chase for a playoff, especially down near the goal line. I mean, he's just a reliable guy. Him and Cooper Kupp kind of became like an entity in terms of like that kind of receiver, that style of receiver. Reminds me of what's his name with the Patriots for many years with Brady.
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker. So that Wes Welker kind of mold, just great hands. Not blow me away route runners, not like blow me away physical guys, but just able to get position and then just glue. I mean, just the hands are just glue. He's that kind of guy, man. Boy, did he have some good seasons over the years with the Minnesota Vikings. So I would love to see him get one more chance with somebody really good and maybe get a chance at winning a ring. That'd be cool. And finally, Boy Green, Monday Night Football. It hasn't happened yet, but it will happen hours from now. And that is the New England Patriots against my New York Giants. As I mentioned, Jackson Dart back in the lineup. And I don't know. Are we tanking? Are we not tanking? I don't know what we're doing. But the fact of the matter is I just want to see my team play better football. I want to see my team be competitive. I certainly don't want them to go out there and get whacked. Joe Bartle last Friday, on top of trying to set up his rivalry with me in fantasy as we were getting ready to gear up and play each other, was just lambasting my Giants and calling this game as uninteresting and boring as they come. So if for no other reason, BG, I want this game to be as interesting and non-boring as that Sunday Night Football game was last night so that I can rub it in Bartle's face on Friday. So we'll see if the Giants make it interesting. Who do you like in this one? Do you think the Giants will be competitive?
I do think they're going to be competitive. I do believe that they're going to cover that spread. I know there's a lot of things going against the Giants. They've lost 6 in a row. They haven't won a road game yet this season. They're 0-7 on the road this year. New England is firing on all cylinders. But again, any given Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Saturday, Tuesday, whatever the day happens to be, that's why you play the games. Upsets happen galore. We've had a lot of upsets across the National Football League this season. I'm not rolling out the Giants. The Patriots have seemingly done a really good job of taking care of the teams they're supposed to beat. That has happened often, and they've squeaked out a few wins where they pulled off an upset. Buffalo earlier in the year, which was the beginning of this winning streak, or Tampa Bay, who they were able to beat. I'm giving the Giants a puncher's chance. Now, can Jackson Dart stay healthy? He's been beat up so much during his rookie year, and it's scared me several times. Can he stay on the field? Can he protect himself? There was a problem back in college. A clip is going viral, Lurch. I don't know if are you a fan of the QB grinders that John Gruden still does and used to do where he...
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar. I'm a fan, no, but familiar for sure.
Okay. So he'd bring a quarterback in a room and break down tape. Yeah. And one of the clips that's going viral is John Gruden's like, what's going on here? And he keeps rewinding the tape. It's Jackson Dart has an opportunity.
I know this exact scene you're talking about. Yes.
And he just starts and tries to truck somebody. And he talks about the toughness he wants to display for teammates and stuff. And John Gruden's like, if you do this on my team, buddy, trying to get I don't have quite the Frank Caliendo John Gruden. He's like, let me tell you something, man. You do this, you're going to be on the injury report. You're not going to be playing for me because you're going to be hurt. You can't be doing this. You got to protect yourself. And Jackson Dart goes, yeah, I know. I got to do better with that. I'm sorry. I'm going to work on it. And then fast forward to the Giants. It's the same crap. Yeah. He's just programmed in that way to freaking put himself in dangerous positions.
I agree.
He was apparently Evil Knievel for Halloween this year, trying to do all these dangerous stunts.
We talked about it with Ed Valentine early in the week. And I was like, Ed, can this guy stop himself from himself? Like how, and he's like, I think he kind of is what he is. I was like, I know. I've seen guys like this before. We had a quarterback right here in Syracuse that we watched play a lot, Eric Dungy. Dungy was a warrior. I mean, this guy would give his life for a victory and life for a first down, life for fourth and a foot. I'm going to get that on my own. I don't need the big fullback. I'm going to do it. And he took some shots. He had an epic amount of concussions. I am very, very worried about that young man and his future when he gets to be 40 and 50 years old. What is that squash going to be like in between the ears with all of those hits he took and the many concussions that he took in college? Yet I know that coaching staff, I talked to them. They were trying to get him to slide. They were trying to get him to run out of bounds. They were trying to get him from seeking contact. He just was wired that way. He was a football player who also happened to play quarterback. He had the mentality of a running back, and he just believed, I'm going to get through that wall. And I just worry that Jackson Dart is the same thing. So if there's going to be a downfall here for the Giants and Jackson Dart, it's going to be health and whether or not he can protect himself well enough and whether the Giants can sell to him, have him practice the craft. I mean, with a guy like him, I literally next year in training camp would be practicing
slide.
I would be practicing running out of bounds situations with him. I would be practicing, third and fourth and short situations and what you do and don't do. How do you get down? How do you protect yourself? Remember a bunch of years ago, this happened with Tua Tagovailoa because he was getting killed with concussions. And Miami, literally, I think he did jujitsu or something.
It was to fall because, as a taekwondo practitioner, you're supposed to spread your weight when you fall and you slap your hands down. So then the weight, pressure, and everything equally balances out on your body. So not one position or one part of your body gets extra attacked. That's true.
So literally what they discovered was that Tagovailoa was getting hurt, not just simply because guys were coming up and whacking him. He was falling awkwardly, and then his head was slamming on the turf, which we know is conducive of getting concussions and creating head trauma. And so he went and did this, martial arts essentially to learn how to fall better. And so far, so good. I mean, Tua has seemed to take less licks. He is protecting himself a lot better. They obviously are keeping him out of harm's way and not running him very much, which I think is a wise thing. All right. But I do think that all of this stuff, this learning period that he had to go through, has at least made him a guy that can be on the field every week, which is what the Dolphins need if they're going to play winning football. They need their quarterback on the field. And the same thing for the Giants going forward. So they ought to invest some time, some money, some staffing, all in an effort to convince this young man about what is best for him and the organization going forward and make it mandatory that he understands what he can and can't do on the football field. You just got to do it.
14 years ago, Rex Ryan brought in Derek Jeter to the Jets practice facilities to teach Mark Sanchez to slide. And it seemed like the most ridiculous thing outside the building. But hey, man, if that at all worked or contributed, because Mark Sanchez would put himself in compromising, dangerous situations. And they literally brought in Derek Jeter to show him how to slide and all this other stuff. So, hey, whatever works, man.
Years ago in the NBA, Rick Barry was among a handful of guys who were incredible free throw shooters, and they would call in the retired Rick Barry to work with guys like Shaquille O'Neal and people that were just, starters in the NBA that were really important players that would miss clutch free throws down the stretch to try to teach them. Now, one of the problems with Rick Barry is that Rick Barry was famous for the grandma method, the underhand method to put it in the hoop, and guys like Shaq just couldn't do it. They just too macho,
prideful,
prideful to do the underhand toss.
No, I'm not doing the underhand toss. I wouldn't do it either. That's embarrassing.
It is kind of embarrassing, right? They got the kid in what's the Gene Hackman movie? Why is it Hoosiers? That Ollie, the kid, and he throws the underhand. He makes the 2 buckets at the most important time. Nobody was making fun of him after he made that second.
I guess that's true.
Them, to the championship, but nonetheless, you do. There is a little bit of pride there, but there are experts out there for all these things. And, when you have a guy like Jackson Dart, who's just putting himself too much in harm's way, and you already see it this early in his career, you got to nip it in the bud because you don't want him having perpetual concussions. Not only is it bad for his health going forward, but it's also bad for the organization if he's not in there as your quarterback. It's hard enough to have one good quarterback. What are you going to have, 2 or 3 on your roster? Nobody has that. So
of course
they got to keep Jackson Dart protected. So he will be back out there tonight. And I'll obviously been watching him very, very closely, not only tonight, but the rest of this season for the New York Football Giants. All right, looking forward to it. Monday Night Football. We still got one more good one to go, hopefully. Joe Bartle doesn't think so, but I do. And we'll see with the Giants what kind of problems they can present for the New England Patriots. And that one, by the way, is in New England tonight. All right, one last shout out, Boy Green, on the giveaways. Again, if you become a subscriber right now, become one of our first 400 subscribers, you can win right away. You could win this Bobby Mercer autographed baseball that I'm giving away right out of my personal collection. If you are a Yankee fan, you love Bobby Mercer, a Yankee hero. I'll ship this right to you once we get to 400 and we pick our winner. Again, if you're already subscribed, you're already in the lottery. And then lastly, again, this beautiful golf club that I've been showing for a couple of weeks. It's a Highbore XL Cleveland. Beautiful driver. It's $400 value. It was donated by our friends at Play It Again Sports. We're going to give that away to one of our first 500 subscribers. So again, you're already subscribed. You have nothing to do. If you're not subscribed, subscribe now. It's absolutely free. And just become part of our growing family. You also help get our product out to more people. The more people that subscribe, the more people that click like. You can hit the thumbs up like if you want as well, anytime during any of our videos. That also helps kind of spread out our audience in the YouTube way, in the YouTube universe, and gives us more exposure to people who could potentially like our content and become subscribers, which is what we're all about at this point. We want to try and build our audience. Again, we've only been here for a few months, really in earnest, but we come from a 30-year radio background, so we're not just coming from nowhere, out of someone's basement, and so hopefully you find our content useful and fun and engaging, and we'll do more fun and engaging stuff again as we grow our little community. We're going to create a cool VIP club. We already got a name for it now, so we're working on that. So a lot of things going on behind the scenes, but we have to get to certain numbers on YouTube before we can do some of the things that we want to do. And so we need your help, frankly. We need you to tell a friend, and so on and so on and so on. And along the way, you can win some free stuff. Just being a subscriber, which is absolutely free, which is cool.
Quick challenge flag alert, actually. Yeah. You said that, if you're already subscribed, there's nothing you got to do. I would say, hey, why don't you get your recruiting hat on and start getting people to subscribe so we can give away this stuff? We have no issues. If we reach 400 subscribers on the show, we'll give away that Mercer baseball right friggin' now. Or whatever. So the sooner we get those subscribers, the sooner we're going to give away the stuff. We're not just holding on to it because we want to. Right. We'd love to give it away as soon as possible. So yes, if you're already a subscriber, I saw Old Yank asking earlier, 400 yet? No, not. But Old Yank, do this. Recruit your family members, friends, anybody to subscribe to the channel. First off, let's be honest.
I don't know if I want more Old Yank's family members. Well, but all right, Old Yank, we'll do it. We'll do it.
But I'll tell you this, Old Yank, that increase your own chances. I ask my fiance all the time, hey, can you enter this contest for me? I want to increase my chances. Another person
my wife
that subscribed in
to do that stuff.
So 100%.
And she
constantly
pulls me in. Can you put your email in there? I'm like, what is this for? She's like, Old Yank saying ouch.
Right.
I'm sorry, Old Yank. I didn't mean to ouch you. No, I was just kidding. But no, we do. We need you. We need you. We need your help, frankly, to grow the channel. It's just, it's a grassroots world, and we got to, in order to become viable, we need help from our grassroots audience that we currently have to push it out to people that they know, and so on and so forth. But my wife does that to me all the time. Get your email, and then I'm like, yeah, what's this for? I'm like, okay.
So that's what I would say to Old Yank.
She wins
stuff
all the time. It's crazy.
Which again, it's cool. So Old Yank, that would literally increase your chances. And then let me know. Say, hey, Paul, I got my dad, my brother, my sister, my cousin, my nephew, my friends at work, whatever, and that can increase your chances of winning. So let me know. Feel free to reach out to me and say that out there. And cool. He says, I'm going to put it out on Twitter. Great. Send it to as many people as you can. Again, the sooner we get to it, the better. Right. We're ready to give it away. We just need to reach those milestones to be able to do it. And I think there's more giveaways to come. I think we're going to work out some other giveaways for 450 subscribers, 425. We're going to do everything and make this a whole party and celebration as we get to the long-awaited 500.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to it. BG, another good one. If you have final thoughts, I'll take them.
It's simply this. Hope everyone enjoyed all their holidays. We have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all this jazz again for me. Now, finally, I can breathe a little bit. No more traveling. I'm fine being at the house. So enjoying some football, some more coverage we're going to have here. We have a fun work week coming up. So, guys, if you're subscribed to the channel at MC Show Digital, we'll have Jets, Giants, Bills, NFL, fantasy football, and all the rest. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel.
All right. Awesome. All right. Another good one in the books. Great content this week. Again, Jake Asman is back with us again this week. Ed Valentine is back with us to talk all things Giants coming off of this Monday Night Football game. We'll get his insight and see how this performance goes. Bill's content with Anthony Prohaska, as always, on Thursday. We'll have some SU. I think we're going to go hoops this week, Boy Green, if we can track down our guy, Neil Adler. We'll do some SU hoops now that the football season has officially come to a close. A very, very sad and final game for the Syracuse Orange at home against Boston College, and a loss. They finish in dead last in the ACC. So not a good season for Syracuse. But to be honest with you, despite the terrible record and the injuries that really drove them to that record, in particular their starting quarterback going down, there is a lot to look forward to for next year for the Syracuse football team. They have another good recruiting class. Their coach is an incredible recruiter. I know he's going to hit that transfer portal hard. He mentioned earlier this week that Steve Angeli, the starting quarterback who got hurt early in the season against Clemson and was a big reason why they really kind of fell apart here in the late stages without a good quarterback, will be back, and he's looking forward to being the starting quarterback starting off next year. So there's a lot of positives for this Syracuse team. Also, they had one of the most brutal schedules in all of college football, and we knew that going into the season. So we knew it was going to be a tough grind to even 6-6. Well, they didn't get there. But I do think there's still a lot of optimism for their season next year. So we'll see if they can live up to that optimism. So a lot of positives there. Syracuse basketball team, would be interesting to talk to Neil about this. Syracuse basketball team coming off a very difficult tournament where they played some of the best teams in the country and didn't get it done. But they showed some signs. It'll be interesting to see what Neil has to say about this year's squad. I like the moxie of the team. I like a lot of the players. They just got to figure out how to win. And they weren't able to win against any of the top. They were all top 25 teams that they were playing in this tournament. And they went down on 3 occasions. But a couple of the games were close, and they really showed some good signs that we haven't seen from a Syracuse basketball team in a bunch of years. So I think there's some optimism there. What do you got up on the screen there?
Yeah, just Black Monday in college football. Syracuse has fired multiple coaches on their staff, so it is coming. Special teams coordinator gone, offensive line coach gone, DB coach gone, their co-defensive coordinator linebackers coach is gone. So a lot of changes coming and more change to come based on this reporting of Syracuse blowing it up. And hey, that's what you got to do when you have a season like that.
Grant Brown wants to win, and he wants winners around him. And if he senses the guys that are working on his staff are not winners, he's going to go out and find better guys. And he's on a march to something. I don't know how far he can take this program and what its capabilities are, but he does not take losing lightly. He's a very fiery guy, man, and
very intense.
I mean, the minute that game ended and they talked to him, I think it was on his way off the field.
I saw that. Yeah,
he was like, "We're getting to work first thing in January, right after the holidays, one day at a time." I mean, he was like on this thing. Like, we are from starting like now. Okay. Yeah. We are focused on putting a better team on the field, putting a better coaching staff on the field. All right. Around me and winning football games next year. And we are on a march to that. And it starts right this second. Like, this guy isn't wasting a day, a second, a minute. He's not gonna like, all right, let me go play golf for 2 weeks. I'll, go to the Bahamas, kick it, take it easy, recharge the batteries. This guy's like the Energizer Bunny, man. He's like singular focus, straight ahead, next game, next thing, next practice, next whatever. We'll see if he can get it done. This is a tough place in Syracuse University to turn into a perennial winner and a college football playoff team when you're facing these titanic monsters like Ohio State and Michigan that have all the resources in the world. But I'll tell you what, man, this guy is going to get as much as he possibly can out of that orange that he's squeezing, all right, in Syracuse football. So we'll see what next year brings. A down year, certainly, for Syracuse football fans. But I do not think it is gloom and doom like it once was, say, during the Greg Robinson era. Where it truly was gloom and doom. Not this time. Not this time. I think this guy is going to get it on the tracks. And I think we're going to see already some of that next season. But we'll see. Long way to go before then. But not for him. He started yesterday. My goodness. He's on it. All right, everybody. Thanks again for watching today. Again, all that content coming your way. Lots and lots of fun stuff all week long. We'll be back live again Wednesday at 11 as usual. Joe Bartle will be with us in his usual Friday spot live at 10:30 as well. All right, so we'll see you for our lives. We'll see you for all our other interviews that we'll be dropping throughout the week. So stay in touch with us. And again, one last time, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/MC Show Digital. You can become a subscriber and win some free stuff, including a Bobby Mercer autographed baseball right now and a golf club once we get to 500 subscribers. All right, we'll see you. For Boy Green, it's the Manchild. Peace out.